Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph, it is December 8th.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It really is.
This year has flown by so fast.
Like a reindeer.
It is. That makes sense. We are in the Christmas season.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch Rudolph? I think we might have talked about this. You watched Rudolph.
Yeah. As a kid, I watched it. Sure.
It's a horrible show, actually.
Yeah, they're all those Christmas. They're all so sad.
No, I mean, like I always like the Rudolph. The messaging around Rudolph is like awful. Like he gets bullied, right? And he's different. And
right.
In the end, like it's like they act like he's like accepted, but he really isn't. He's just being used.
Yeah, they found a way to make use of him.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this freak will help us out. But like Santa, who's like an asshole through the entire special, like he's just like a miserable bastard. Yes. He's not even fat. Like he's like this just mean, scrawny old man. And then like I guess they fatten him up before Christmas or something.
Sure.
And he's like a dick to Rudolph too. He's like, oh, Rudolph, fucking little freak. Get away.
Yeah, he was very standoffish. That's true.
Yeah. You abomination, sin of mammon and Satan. I just thought that was weird watching that in Ralph Baskin book.
Yes, it is.
The goat scene, like in Dragnet. But he's like, oh, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, why'd you cry in my sleeve tonight? But it's like in such a scumbaggy way, like, hey, Rudolph, get over here.
Yeah.
I need your help now. He's like a piece of shit CEO in that movie. Like we're gonna talk about that later.
Like Santa Musk.
Santa Musk, yeah. Elon Santa Musk, but not like, yeah. I'm sure there's people who think he is Santa Claus, but those are those weird nerds that like him.
Right.
So what are we talking about today, Joseph?
Well,
Ralph Baskin classics.
We have a good list. We're going to talk a little bit about Hawkeye, the latest episode of Hawkeye. We're going to talk about some Christmas card material we've seen on Twitter from some Republican congresspersons. We're talking about the big news. One of the opening salvos in this year's war on Christmas. We got the Fox tree down.
Fox tree down.
Engulfed in burning flames.
What did you say? It was too close to
the. Someone must have put the Fox Christmas tree a little too close to the cross.
The Fox burning cross that they have year round. I'm all down for making the Fox Christmas Yule log, my Yule log for the year. I mean, I have a fireplace, but like I might just play that burning to a cinder 24, like just on a loop.
Yeah, like you tune into the holiday Yule log on Netflix.
I think I proposed that. Like you should make a Yule log of the flame of the burning tree.
Right, and I think like on it you have Tucker Carlson running out of the building shouting like, oh, the humanity, as he like grips his hair and stuff. So
my pearls.
Just like when the Hindenburg went down. So then we're going to talk about Lauren Boebert is perhaps getting censored or somehow disciplined. And then we're talking about that'll lead nicely into the January 6th stuff, which we've been covering. And then Tucker Carlson's Putin worship, which is kind of, it's so weird. And then we're going to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse.
Right-wing YouTube media tour.
He's just such a weird thing.
Very comfortable on there and speaks very well. Like,
yes.
Like he's been, it's like they grew him in a chud lab.
And then we're going to talk about a thing I had seen this week, a Pizza Hut raising their prices in California. And we're going to talk about just some crappy billionaire behavior in general.
Like it's not because the food is so good. They have to raise prices to procure the best ingredients, right?
No. So it's not about no one out pizzaing the hut. It's more of a
an annoyed get them
annoyed. It's just we'll talk about it when we talk about it, but it's a weird thing where I think there's a phrase for it. It's called like drip pricing or something, but it's basically companies are now employing a twofold strategy of A, making everything smaller so that you open a regular size box and the bag is very small inside, or they're reducing portion sizes or so. They're doing that, but at the same time, they are
good for people though.
They probably, but they're also doing this like drip pricing thing. Like it used to be back in the day, if you went to McDonald's and you ordered 20-piece McNuggets or whatever, you could say toss in a couple barbecue sauces and they would just do it. But now you like purchase the barbecue sauce.
Fuck that. I still say toss in. They usually give it to me.
Yeah.
The key is to ask. The key is to ask before you leave.
Yeah.
Not before. Don't do it before you pay.
No. You got to do it after you like.
You got to do it at the window. And usually they're just like, that person don't give a flying fuck.
I'll tell you who's the best at that. You're going to think I'm doing it just because I'm on their payroll, but Taco Bell, sometimes I'll go up.
You are on the payroll. Let's say, let's save that for the ad break.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just
their new smoky Baja Blast.
I got their new hot.
Where a guy rolling coal blows smoke in your direction while you drink a Baja Blast.
They have a new Hatch chili smoothie that is just
that's not even real. Okay.
And then we're going to wind up talking about cryptocurrencies and celebrities' weird pushing of
using their celebrity powers to trick people into some Amway scam.
Yeah. So and then that'll be the show. So we're gonna start with Hawkeye. And what is this? Is this the 5th episode of Hawkeye?
Episode 4.
That's right, because we have 5 and 6 left.
I think so. Yeah, unless there's a mystery episode of one.
No, I think it's a 6 episode run.
All right, so we'll talk about this real fast because we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We got more Ralph Baskin stuff to talk about. So Hawkeye episode 4 on Disney Plus. What did you think about it, Joseph? Did you like it?
I liked it a whole bunch. I thought, like, if I'm rating them, and you and I talked about this briefly, the first 2 episodes were dynamite. They were so good. And then the 3rd episode, I was like, this feels a little transitional.
Funny, I saw a lot of people, they loved that episode. You like hated on
the 3rd one?
Yeah. I don't know. I think the chase scene was pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was.
But the last 10, 15 minutes were like,
yeah, no, look, I was glad to watch it. I had a good time watching it. It just, the first 2 were so good. That 3rd one felt like a little bit of a letdown. I liked this one a whole lot. I thought a lot of fun things happened. I loved a lot of the banter between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, them talking about arrows and like the practicality of boomerang arrows.
The boomerang arrow conversation was very funny.
Yeah.
You dodge them.
Right.
It's like, that sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, he's like, why would you want a boomerang arrow?
Yeah, I thought that was really funny. I like the whole thing too about him, because the thing is, again, it's weird. It's weird. They're trying to do this weird dance and making him more like the comic character, but the movie character is more like the Ultimates version. The Ultimates version was very different from the comic character. And then he was more like a soldier, an agent, like he says in the show, he was a weapon that they would aim him at things, and sometimes they would aim him in a good direction, sometimes they would aim him in a bad direction. So he did some bad things. And in the comic, he was like, I thought maybe it'd be kind of cool if they worked in that he was kind of part of the circus or carnival when he was younger. Maybe that's how he learned how to do all that shit. Like to start, I don't know. Maybe they might still work that in. I think that'd be a good way. I thought they were gonna. So spoilers on this. I thought they were gonna maybe show like there's a connection between him and that guy who's marrying Kate Bishop's mom, who's the swordsman.
Right.
He plays a character who is the swordsman in the comics, and the swordsman has a connection to Hawkeye in the comics, where he's like a on again, off again mentor / like protagonist, villain, good guy. He's kind of like supposedly played many roles, that character.
Sure.
And I don't know. It's a weird thing, but like I like in the comic, like how, the show is like he won't reveal anything because he is like an agent and he won't say anything. He doesn't say like where he's coming from or where he's going. Everything's a secret because that's how he operates. Like I feel like Kate Bishop's mom asked him something and he wouldn't even answer it. Or he gave her some bullshit answer.
Right.
But yeah, I like the LARPers.
They're great. Yep.
I like the scene in the end when she's going across the she gets stuck. Like she's doing like what they call that?
Like a zip line type of thing.
The zip line with the arrow, like with the bow, and she gets caught in the middle. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
The only thing, like, I just feel like I don't know where the plot's like really going. Like the Tracksuit Mafia weren't in this. Echo shows up for a little bit in the end. And then in the end, also Hawkeye's getting like attacked by somebody.
Right. Clearly a proficient fighter.
It's Yelena Belova from Black Widow movie.
Right.
She's the fake sister, she still considered her a sister of even though they weren't really related.
Right.
She had that fake spoilers of Black Widow, the fake family. I thought that was a great element. I loved that actually. That they were like this fake family that lived in the United States. They were spies. I thought that was like a really cool, like, people probably say, oh, it's like the Americans. Like they've been doing that shit for years.
Yeah, that's a trope.
Americans was not original. I've seen that whole like Russians sending spies into the United States to infiltrate and pretend to be Americans for decades.
Yeah, that's been a thing.
I thought it was actually kind of sad because like the little girl, which was the Elena in the movie, really acted like that was her family. And Scarlet Witch was like a little older to understand. Not Scarlet Witch.
Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah, she was a little older, so she was more aware, like, hey, this is all bullshit. Like, this is not your family. I thought that was like kind of sad because she was like this little girl, but they were like trained killers.
Right.
It's at that age, they could kill people if they wanted to. But yeah, I basically, there's a lot of callbacks to Natasha getting killed in Endgame.
This one went heavy on the MCU references.
Yeah, they have like flashbacks, like the part when like what's her face basically gets kicked off the building, Kate Bishop or something, and there's an arrow holding her. And he's like, it's like the flashback to when she's holding the cord to keep Natasha Romanoff from falling. And she cuts it or whatever. It's like the same exact scene. I thought that was kind of great, like the callback. And he's like, so Yelena, it's revealed that Yelena Belova, and then she leaves. I thought it was kind of stupid though, because I feel like there was no need to really have her. Like she comes in looking like she's got like fully covered. You don't see her face. I kind of knew where it was going because she had those like Black Widow sleeves. Like electricity or shit. And I was like, okay, I know what this is. Like, I don't know. I didn't think it needed that. It's not like all of a sudden it was going to be Natasha Romanoff. I mean, I guess they wanted to maybe think it would be. That'd be kind of cool if it was. That would be a pretty crazy guess to get. I have a feeling that Scarlett Johansson won't be doing anything for MCU anymore. I feel like that. I think that bridge got burnt. I'd be surprised if she comes back.
I do too.
Fucked her over. I don't think it's like Feige. I think it's like Disney. Like, they kind of didn't do her right with Black Widow.
I'd be surprised if we see her again. I'm okay with that. I actually like Scarlett Johansson a lot. I get like all the problems with her or whatever, but I like her a lot. I thought she was great as Black Widow. But that's not like such a super integral character.
She was great in Gandhi.
What?
She was great in Gandhi when she played Gandhi.
Yes.
And when she was also, I heard that she's going to be in
the new Black Panther. The new Black Panther.
Yeah, she's going to play Black Panther, but she's playing like. Never mind.
No. I don't have any. I like Scarlett Johansson a lot.
She's going to be in the Sanford and Son remake. She's
right. She's Lamont. She's
playing Sanford.
But yeah, I mean, the MCU is going to be fine without that character, without that Black Widow character.
Well, that's where it ended, and then like basically Clint Barton's like, well, I had someone hired basically a Black Widow agent to kill me. I'm fucked.
Right.
This just
got real.
And he's like telling her, like, basically, he keeps trying to, as much as it's funny, like he wants to get rid of her, like she's the pizza dog. Like she is like a dog, and he's trying to get rid of her. I mean, that's kind of what he's doing, but he keeps like, he doesn't get rid of her, and he gets along with her. They're friends. There's that scene where they're having margaritas or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a great scene. She shows up and with some Christmas movies and some
ugly Christmas sweaters.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good episode. I liked it, but I feel like if there's only 2 episodes left, man, those last 2 episodes may be jam-packed because I really don't know what's going on. I feel like the first 2 episodes had like, they moved pretty quickly and a lot of like,
they were so plot heavy. Yeah.
A lot of pieces were moving. And that 3rd episode had a good conflict, but then it slowed down. And then this one kind of just fucked around a little too much. Like, I don't feel like maybe I missed it, but were there pieces moving? I don't feel like there's like he has a run-in with the guy who's like second in command with Echo. Like he interprets her or does the sign language for her. And I don't know, he ends up just letting him go or something, but he takes his gun. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. It's hard. It's hard to tell. There's just a lot of characters and a lot of the motivations.
What's her face is in it too now. So they, Yelena Blow. Or what's her name? It's like Pew or something.
I forget her name. But this character's kind of weird because she attacked Echo too.
Well, probably because she was in the way.
Yeah, but like
Echo, I think she was there to get Barton only, and then Echo was there to get Barton, and then.
But if Echo's out to get
what?
Well, then that brings to question like who hired the Black Widows.
Well, I mean, did you watch the Black Widow movie?
Yeah.
Okay, did you stick around the end credits?
Yeah, but like, are they necessarily going after Hawkeye?
I mean, it could literally just be that, like, because in the end of the movie, you meet Elaine from Seinfeld shows up.
Yeah.
As that character,
from Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, the thing was, it's funny is that was technically supposed to be her first, because Black Widow was supposed to come out first.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it was supposed to come out way before, like a couple of months before Falcon and Winter Soldier came out. So yeah, she shows up as that character, Julia Louis-Dreyfus in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but the big surprise was supposed to be the end of Black Widow. That's where the real sting was, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Because they sting you. They do. She shows up where it's like after the movie, obviously after the movie, but like a year later or whatever, after 5 years later, I guess, after Endgame, because the movie ends with her getting on like the Steve Rogers ship to go fight in Infinity War, and that's the end of that movie. And Endgame, it's 5 years later, so who knows when she shows up at the grave for it could be like 6 months later.
Right.
She shows up at the grave, and you don't know, she could have blipped away during that time period.
True.
At least people blipped away for 5 years, That's the other thing that's kind of crazy. I've kind of wish they would clearly what's her face didn't blip because she would have been younger. Kate Bishop, she didn't blip in those 5 years.
I think they would have mentioned it too.
Well, they wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense though, because 2012 she's like a little girl.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be like 11 years later.
And she's roughly 11 years. Yeah.
The show takes place in 2023 or 2024. It's technically like a year or two in the future.
Okay.
We're catching up to Endgame now, actually, because they even say that like Endgame went from like 2018 to like 2023, which I always thought that was a crazy to me. I like that. At first I was like, I hate that, but I thought that was cool actually, that they stuck their guns and they stayed with. They're like, yeah, it's 5 years later.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
that's like taking the whole thing and being like, yep, it's 5 years later. Maybe we'll do some stuff in between, but I don't know. So she could be there just for that alone, just to kill.
Yeah, I guess I could see
Hawkeye,
that. Yeah.
Or she's there for another purpose and just happened to run to Hawkeye and now is like, I'll take him out too. Like maybe she was there to kill Echo.
Yeah.
And she's there to. And then there's like the whole thing with the Ronin costume is like really convoluted. And then there's this thing about a watch that Clint has, or have it, or he's trying to get it.
Well, it was one of the artifacts from the Avengers compound.
Yeah.
And they said they never got it. And I thought they said that it was, and I could be wrong. I could have misheard it. I thought they said it would reveal someone who's trying to stay hidden. And that's what made me think that maybe it was Steve Rogers' watch or something. But a Rolex wouldn't make sense for Steve Rogers. It would make much more sense for Tony Stark.
Just like with Tony Stark, because he has access, he's dead now in the show.
Right.
Sorry if anyone didn't know that.
Yeah.
Know what the fuck you've been watching. Here's another spoiler. I got another one to spoil for you. Did you know that Darth Vader's looks?
Yeah, right.
crazy, man. Didn't mean to spoil it for you.
Yeah.
Supposedly this watch is really like a key to a vault or something.
Okay.
Like access to weapons and shit, or
Sure.
whatever secrets or technology that Tony had hidden. That the watch was like a key, or it's like a key to the Avenger. There's a lot of like, who knows? It could be nothing.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I hope the next episode just like really moves the pieces quicker.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they can't do another episode of them sitting around like watching movies and
yeah.
fucking around that adorable dog, that fluffy dog.
Mm-hmm.
I like. Is he in the comic? Is he supposed to do more shit?
No, he's literally like, if I remember right. Yeah, he's just a dog, and if I remember right, he was a dog that belonged to one of the members of the Tracksuit Mafia, and he was kind of abused. Not like horribly abused.
Is he missing an eye in the comic too?
Gosh, I think so, yeah. And in the comic, Clint is the one who takes him home. If I remember right, Clint is the one who takes him home. And he kind of...
might. He has a farm.
Yeah, and he lives with Clint. But like I said, in the comic, and again, I should have gone back and reread it. I didn't. But like Clint is
issues where the dog's with Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Maybe that dog just dances around.
I don't know. But the pizza dog was just like a dog that was in the comic kind of incidentally, and just became kind of like a breakout character because of the one innovative issue that featured from the
dog's point of view.
Yeah, and it was just like super well done and kind of clever, and it wasn't like life changing or anything. But I think that's why people like the dog so much.
Do you know what that comic goes for?
Oh, it's got to be a ton, right?
It's like $100 easily.
Yeah,
I just find it really funny because it's like it's a fucking dog.
Yeah,
it's not like it's Snarf or like, you know what I mean? It's a good dog. It's not like it's Rocket Raccoon, who's a character that has
right lines and dialogue and shit.
Generic. It's literally a golden retriever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's some special. I just find that funny that book, like any pizza dog comics, first appearances go for like stupid money.
Well, I'll bet you too that like if a person kind of new to comics read that comic today, I'll bet you it would not impress them in the least, because that kind of storytelling's kind of flooded the internet. You know, like there's a ton of comics that are like kind of like that.
There was this comic I read years ago that was really good called We Three. I don't know if you heard about it. It was like a Vertigo, I think.
Uh-huh.
It was only like 3 issues. I think Grant Morrison wrote it, and it was about these 3 pets that happened to be, well, they were 3 animals that were basically put in like crazy cybernetic killing machines.
Oh, jeez.
There's a rabbit, a cat, and a dog.
Okay.
And in the end of it, they let them out, and they're just like kind of a little fucked up because they have like some scars and shit. But they were just like a dog, a cat, and a rabbit, and these like crazy like killing machines, and it's all from their point of view too. So it's pretty nuts. I highly recommend reading that one. It's super. I don't want to say anything. I think one of them dies. It's kind of sad.
Oh, jeez.
Like if you were the writer, what animal do you think gets killed? A cat, rabbit, or dog?
Cat.
No.
Rabbit.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about a rabbit. sorry, Tricks. Living's not for tricks. Only dogs and cats. Not enough owners of rabbits are not a common pet.
Yeah, that's true.
Poor rabbit. All right, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see where it goes. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, if it is only 2 episodes, I think they'll bring it home. I'm curious
Oh
if
yeah.
there'll be a cliffhanger of some sort. I just don't know. Like these series are kind of weird. Like, the only one that had a true cliffhanger was Loki, which supposedly the rumor was that Loki is always supposed to be like a 10 episode series or 11 episodes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And COVID kind of screwed it up. And that's why but I don't think that's the case. I think they meant to do only one season. I have no idea. I don't even know when that second season's coming out. Probably not for like 2 more years.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like a complicated one to produce.
And also they have all the movies coming out, and that character or a Kang is going to be in one of the movies,
Yeah.
2 of the movies. So there's probably like a whole bunch of other stuff going on. It's a big jump. Like that's the thing about COVID, besides it being a horrible pandemic that killed millions of people around the planet and created all kinds of horrible politics behind it. It kind of screwed up how Marvel movies and TV shows go.
Yeah, that's true. That's
probably the biggest tragedy of them all. I mean,
yeah.
My entertainment release dates were like just totally screwed up.
And all the horse paste in the world ain't gonna fix it. So
yeah. If Feige's trying to rub that horse paste on those Marvel releases, and it's just not doing it. Let me see if I can find this real quick.
Yeah.
This is pretty nuts. This is like everything that's coming out next year. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, I've seen. I don't recall off the top of my head, but yeah, I've seen these lists. It's a lot.
It's insane. It's like part of me is like, oh, this is awesome, but the other part of me is like, I don't know if this is like too much. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. Never mind. It's just like it's a list of like tons of Marvel movies, DC movies, and other stuff, Star Wars releases.
Yep.
And I said like if this was like 1990, Rob, he would have lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, this is overwhelming.
Right.
Like it's overwhelming. It's too much. It's almost too much content. It's like I'm not gonna listen. I don't think it's a bad thing, but at the same time, it is a bad thing. Like I remember when I was a kid, man, I would look in the back of like Starlog magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have this list of movies that were coming out. None of this shit ever came out. None of these movies.
Right. Yeah.
They were like scripts and stuff going around for years. It doesn't mean they ever came out. I remember like Silver Surfer movie coming out in 1992.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I can't wait for the Silver Surfer movie. Yeah, still waiting. Still waiting for that. So they would have like that was the best part. Starlog like release dates, and I swear like none of
like maybe
of that was all bullshit.
Yeah.
Now it's an actual. Like, would you ever think there'd be a Shang-Chi movie?
No.
Or an Eternals movie?
And honestly, a lot of times, and maybe this is just because I don't have the time to obsessively comb through stuff like that. Sometimes I'll hear about stuff and it's like almost done. It's like almost ready to come out. And I'll be like, what the fuck? They were working on this?
Yeah, it's crazy how like there's like a Predator TV series or something coming out. I didn't know about it until like there's so much shit coming out. They just announced like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, a new one. That's like, I'll find on YouTube, it'll be like a trailer for it. And I'm like, what?
A Night Court reboot.
Oh shit! I can't wait. Yeah.
Well, it's got John Larroquette and Harry Stone's daughter. It's gonna be good. I'm serious.
Oh, you're kidding? You're serious?
No, I'm serious. There's a Night.
Oh, I was joking. Wait, I was just saying it was all puppets. Wait, what is it?
A Night Court reboot. It's coming out real soon, and it stars John Larroquette. And
he's the only living person,
right? And the judge, I think, it's not played by Harry Stone. What was the guy's name? He
died years ago.
Yeah, but what was his real name?
Harry
Anderson. Harry
Anderson, I think might have been his name. Yeah.
Okay. And in the show, he was Harry Stone. And the judge is supposed to be Harry Stone's daughter. And it's run by 2 people that did like another good show. So it looks like it's John Larroquette's real good. So
yeah, I like John Larroquette. I feel like he's never got fully appreciated.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. What's it going to be on?
That is a good question. It is going to be on NBC.
So Peacock.
Probably Peacock. Night Court sequel. Let's see. Starring Melissa Rauch and John Larroquette, lands series order on NBC.
Just let Alf on it, be on
Oh,
it too.
that'd be awesome. It's going to be run by the people who did The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, that could be either really good or awful. That could be good. All right, I have. That's good. Oh, man, I want. It's going to be a totally different kind of show. It's so weird.
I'll tell you. It's weird going back and watching Night Court. After we talked,
I have not seen Night Court in years. I have no idea. I'm sure it's not aged well at all.
It was a different era, like just the way they filmed things and the pacing of it. It still holds up. It's like
half the cast is dead. Like Marky Post died. The guy who was like the clerk, the main guy, I forgot his name.
Richard Mall.
What?
Are you talking about Richard Mall, the bailiff?
No, he's alive. He was a bailiff.
Oh, he's alive?
Yeah, Richard Moll's still alive. It was man, I forgot his name. I hate to say he was the black guy on the show, but he was.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He just passed away recently. Marky Post passed away. Harry Shearer passed away.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a woman that died years ago. Marsha Warfield took her place.
Right.
I think Marsha Warfield's still alive. I'm pretty sure Harry Mole was his name. Richard Mole.
Richard Mall is alive.
Yeah, he's still. I'm pretty sure he's still alive, and John Larroquette's obviously he's still alive.
Yeah.
Everyone else is dead. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So there goes. Maybe they could do a Night Court Afterlife like Ghostbusters and just do a CGI Harry Shearer like the spoilers. You didn't see it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Shit, I won't say anything.
That's
okay.
Right.
No, you don't care.
But yeah, I don't know why we got on the Night Court thing. But anyway, yeah, there is going to be a Night
everyone
Court.
knows that a perfect chronological order is to discuss Hawkeye, which obviously leads into Night Court.
Yes.
And everything, and of course, the natural occurrence is then to lead to right-wing politician chuds putting out insane Christmas cards with their families holding expensive, heavily armed, like guns that are like they're like one guy was holding a gun that was like $30,000 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It's bananas. I saw I think AOC it was. I think she tweeted out something that basically said, like, all these years these right-wing chuds have been pissed off and thinking that liberals are destroying the true meaning of Christmas, when in fact they're having no problem destroying Christmas on their own, because it's such a fucked up thing to pose in front of a tree with a bunch of guns. That's your Christmas.
I'm not shocked by this. Somebody Jewish in the United States faced seen all kinds of weird, crazy shit, seeing stuff from the outside. None of this shocks me. Of course, I don't think everyone's doing it. I think it's a specific kind of person doing it.
Yeah.
It's just so Massey or something.
Yeah.
He's the first one. Is he from Michigan or something? They were saying like they were giving him the most criticism because of that school shooting that happened in Michigan. And he was like, he put out that card like a day after of his family holding the weapons.
I think he's from Kentucky. And I think that they just said like it's incredibly poor taste because the Michigan shooting happened so recently.
Yeah, like these fucking people give a shit. They're like, there'll be a shooting tomorrow. Who cares?
Well, it is really troubling because it's so specific to this big thing in America, which is like this weird Christian nationalism, which is like a mix of white power, white grievance, Christian.
I mean, the Klan were Christian, weren't they?
Yeah, but yes.
They were good practicing Christians.
I agree, but they didn't. It felt a little different. I think the Klan was mostly about hating black people. I think that
they hated Jews too.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they hated gay people and they hated women. They hated everybody.
But the Klan was more about like, I don't know. It feels different.
Guess what? They're the Klan also.
Yeah,
they don't have hoods on anymore.
This weird Christian nationalist stuff, and it always involves like God, guns, and patriotism and stuff like that. And it's like such a weird toxic
They believe
mix.
that like not just as besides there being a God or whatever, but that God chose the United States.
Yeah.
which is very weird and very specific. I mean, it's very strange that I don't know, whatever. These people are nuts. They take pictures with they take pictures with their family holding insanely large guns,
Yeah.
posing on a Christmas tree. I guess Boebert, that one was the guy Massey's was definitely more choreographed.
Yeah.
And like a more professional photo. Boebert put out one recently with her sons, and they don't look like they want to do it. And it was a shitty photo. You could tell that like she's like, well, I'm gonna do one too. And this is super creepy. These are not the first people to do this. There's that woman that runs in like Nevada.
Oh yeah.
She very strange woman. She poses pictures with her family holding machine guns. And the funny thing too is even someone brought up, so like the right wing's new thing was they were going after Kamala Harris because of some cookware set that she got.
Yeah.
Cost like, get this,
like $400.
Not even, dude. That's actually not that expensive. I mean,
I was gonna say like cookware.
It's gonna last longer.
Yeah,
like,
it's practical.
It's gonna last a while. It has practical use. It's gonna get a lot of usage. And for someone that you would think the vice president, the fact that she got something for just $400, this isn't Nancy Pelosi's ice cream fridge. No. This is not this. But the funny thing is that like she is not a woman of the people, right? But the Massey guy, whose family are holding weapons that cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
It's probably like 60, 70 grand worth of guns in that photo.
That has literally no practical usage except for literally just, showing them in a photo like an asshole and shooting things. Cookware, at least, oh, well, you can shoot the thing and then put it in the cookware. It's just a tool. Like, fuck this guy. And Boebert's a piece of shit. If you see the photo, her sons are just like, AOC like posted or something, and I left a tweet. I said her husband wasn't there. He was too busy at the bowling alley showing tattoos to girls.
It is such a weird photo. It definitely looks like a cell phone picture.
It's terrible. And she's so evil looking in it.
Yeah. The Massey photo looks like they hired a photographer. They lit it well. I'm not defending
the Christmas card photo.
It's a technically proficient photograph.
Did you see the Photoshop edit to that though?
With the dicks?
Yeah, I tweeted that. I retweeted that. That thing's amazing.
That is great.
Giant dildos. It was so funny. Like this one guy's like, "Oh, be careful. That girl in the middle might be like a child." I'm like, no, that's an adult.
Yeah.
Relax. It's not. You know what? And I said, wouldn't it be even just as disgusting if it was a little girl holding a weapon? Like that's disgusting. That's actually that's worse.
Dildos are less disgusting than guns, frankly. I mean,
can you kill someone with a dildo? I guess you could. You'd have to really try.
Yeah.
There's a lot of effort. There's not much effort involved with a gun. You just got to point it.
That'd have to be like one of those mechanical dildos from the William S. Burroughs novels or something. Like that's how that band Steely Dan.
No,
the
band Steely Dan.
Yeah, Steely Dan.
Yeah,
their name Steely Dan. They got that from a William S. Burroughs novel, and that was the name of a killer dildo. Like a mechanical dildo that could kill people.
Made the band cooler.
So. Yeah, they were much cooler.
That makes them much cooler. I didn't realize that. Aren't they just like some rock and roll band? They're nothing like
that. No, they're like two weird guys. They're real technically proficient at music, and they had a couple great songs. They had
I just think it's really funny though that okay, I know what you're talking about. I just
Hey 19, really Ricky Don't Lose That Number.
Yeah.
Kid Charlemagne.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. That's what the song means. Yeah, so these people put out these cards and it's just like, this is Christmas. I mean, this is how you want to show your family. It's just disgusting.
It's just the one thing Christians have always said that bears a lot of like truth, relative to their religion is that like you shouldn't commercialize Christmas. Christmas should be a time to reflect on family and the reason for the religion and the birth of Jesus.
Now that I said that, look in our store to get a special exclusive ornament for your Christmas tree.
Yeah, well, that always is like that was always a good argument from them because it seemed like a genuine one. But then this is just like such bullshit. It's like we're gonna like piss on Christmas to swing our dick guns around and gin up our base, and it's like this is. I don't know.
Like, this is what happens when you just like gun lobbyists being actual politicians.
Yeah,
that's just all that guy is.
Yeah,
and that's all she is too. Boebert, they're just gun lobbyists. They're just lobbyists for the gun industry. Like that's all they are.
Boebert's a lobbyist for Boebert.
What?
Boebert's a lobbyist for Boebert.
Oh yeah, and her shitty ass restaurant, which involves guns. It's basically Hooters with guns. It's like and food poisoning.
Yeah.
Room temperature, 3-day-old room temperature pork slide special. Don't eat that. I wonder maybe yeah. Okay, so speaking of, I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess this leads right into the next thing, though. Speaking of the conservatives and everything, and their never-ending war on Christmas.
Right.
The war on Christmas last year was a little tough.
It was
because of like COVID.
Yes.
I mean, now this year, I mean, there's still COVID. They just ignore it completely. Responsible people got vaccinated, but people that they're appealing to with their guns and vote are not getting vaccinated, or won't admit to it at least.
Right.
Some of them do get vaccinated. They just won't admit to it that they did. But the war on Christmas is back.
Yeah.
And the first
shots fired
was sacred Fox News Christmas tree in New York City. Fox News Christmas tree down.
Yes.
Fox News Christmas tree is down. So I guess it got caught on fire by the what was it?
The cross they had burning across the
year. Was it John F. Kennedy's like
the eternal flame, right?
What's it called? The flame that never goes, like
the eternal flame.
Yeah, well, yeah, Fox has the eternal burning cross.
Yes.
And I guess one of their interns or whatever accidentally put the Christmas tree too close to the year-round burning cross. And all to say is that I want to make a loop of the tree burning, and make that my Yule log video. Offer that up for the people.
Yeah.
So they can use that. Somebody posted on Twitter and someone said that they have Darth Vader burning return. That scene when he's like they show his mask and everything.
Right.
And that's been a popular Yule log for people.
Oh wow.
And then they're like, I'm gonna use this one instead. What's that guy's name? Not Tucker, but it's that other guy who's really big on Fox, the one who always smirks and he's supposedly funny, but he's not.
Oh,
God, he thinks he sounds sarcastic. And
is it Jesse something? Is it?
No, not that guy. That guy sucks. You're in the right direction.
It's like kind of there's a few of them over there that are like this failed stand-up comic version of Fox. Yeah,
what's his name? He has a comedy show.
I don't know. I really don't know many of the Fox personnel.
Gutfeld.
Oh yeah, Greg Gutfeld.
Yeah.
I think he blocked me on Twitter.
He blocked you.
You were tweeting about someone today, Eric Metaxas or Metaxas.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That might have been from the day before. He was like, I only said that he was like, I don't even know what he was talking about. I said, wasn't that the asshole who like literally punched somebody?
Yeah. Like, he blocked me too.
The last night of the GOP convention was in DC, where Trump did this dick wagging thing.
Yeah.
Where he did it like by the White House, and they said
that's it. Yeah.
It's incredible. It's just not something you do, but he did it, and he wanted to tell everyone that he had the house and everything, and that worked out great for him. Clearly. But that night they were all walking around, and there were protesters there and stuff.
Right.
And that Metaxas guy just straight up assaulted some dude walking on the street.
Yeah,
just fucking punched him.
I tweeted about that when it happened, and for some reason that guy was like promoting a book at the time, Metaxas, and I was like the first comment on a few of his tweets, like just out of coincidence, and I got a lot of likes on bad mouthing him, and he blocked me like later that day. So
well, that guy sucks.
Yeah, he's super fragile.
but he's a so-called like he's one of those fascist Christians. Like he's a Christo-fascist.
Christian nationalists. I mean,
Yeah.
they're so easy to recognize. They
Marjorie Taylor Greene's one of them.
Yep, absolutely.
They push this Christianity thing, and it's all part of QAnon too. That's like the joke is like QAnon. That's why I don't get why like some people get attracted to it, because it's mostly just like a cult for like evangelicals. It's like a way to just keep them in the loop so they don't, we've talked about this on the podcast before. Over the years, the people have become less religious, and the Republicans really need people who are true believers, or they're not going to vote for Republicans. So QAnon was the greatest invention to keep these people further entrenched in voting for Republicans, because there's like a story being told that,
it's just such a weird one. Like the Q conspiracy is so improbable
that it was
like,
started as a joke almost too.
It is. It's just so improbable that you really have to. It takes a whole lot to go down that path. And
it really. Did you see Sylvester Stallone as a
QAnon?
Yeah. I'm not shocked.
No, I'm not either.
When you go up, I'll go up.
Well,
it's fair that Gina Carano was fired. It sucks because I do like him, but yeah, I mean, I always knew his politics sucked anyway. I always knew Stallone's always been like pretty shitty when it's politics. Like, but I mean, come on, QAnon, really? What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, I mean, like, I'm not shocked if he's a Republican or anything, but why do you have to be in QAnon? Like, why does every fucking Republican have to be part of QAnon? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's like, aren't you in Antifa? Like, no, I mean, I'm anti-fascist, but I'm not like in a QAnon cult.
And Antifa, to the best of my knowledge, isn't releasing like coded messages from someone embedded in the Biden administration that says if you count the letters of Biden's speech and times it by 4, it like this is like fucking bananas. It's like,
man, 9/11. I saw this great TikTok the other day. This woman explaining what happened to conspiracy. And she said it started with 9/11. Like, we had conspiracy before with like the trip to the moon, JFK, and all that. But those, again, all those things had real plausibilities. There was real truths behind them. I mean, like 9/11 was the last great true conspiracy of like, hey, this is weird. It's happened. It doesn't make any real sense. And we ended up going to war. There was actual negative results brought on to that, where people were able to take advantage of it. And it's interesting too, because like one of the main guys who kind of pushed 9/11 truth was Alex Jones, and he helped cultivate an audience and take that what was to me a legitimate conspiracy. Some people will say I'm nuts, whatever, I don't care. It was, in comparison to conspiracies now.
Sure.
But Alex Jones was able to cultivate an audience, make a ton of money off of doing it, get people hooked onto his show, and then turn it into some sick thing. Yeah. And also, I mean, the conspiracy was like, there's like legitimate things, and then there's like the people who think like the planes were holograms, and that's just like, okay, now we're in a stupid town. And the thing is too, it's like, what better thing than to call that conspiracy, because then it loses all value.
Right.
Then any question, I'm like, well, really, how did a plane get taken over by? How did 4 planes get taken over by guys with box cutters?
Sure.
Seems a little too. This seems a little all the same, like a little too implied. I'm not going to turn this into a night. It's YSGOAT is now. You still going on about Tower 7?
Well, the key to it all is the Templars, and here's what I.
Yeah, but regardless, they took something that had some legitimate grievances and some real like questions and turned it into batshit, and also attaching the word conspiracy to it. And then the right wing conspiracies are just complete bananas. QAnon, it doesn't even. I wouldn't even call it conspiracy. It's like, what is it? It's not. It's just bullshit. It's psycho bullshit. Like, there's no. Like, you can't say that like questioning something like what happened to JFK is not the same as saying I think JFK Jr. is going to come back from
the
dead and run with Donald Trump, the true American president. Like, they are not the same.
Yeah, they used to talk about this. I used to work in mental health, and they would talk about the difference between like delusions and bizarre delusions. And like, if you think that the cashier at the Quickie Mart hates you, despite there being no, it could. I mean, that's
or they're just annoyed by your presence.
Yeah,
it could just be that too. They don't
or
think about
even if you think the cashier from the Quickie Mart is plotting to kill you, that's technically possible. Now, it's probably not true, but it's not like a bizarre delusion, which would be, I think the cashier from Quickie Mart is actually a giant lizard wearing a people suit, right?
They're all true, Joseph.
One of them, they both are pretty fucked up. The cashier at Quickie Mart probably isn't plotting to kill you, but the cashier at Quickie Mart sure as fuck isn't a giant lizard in a people suit, you know? And like, that's Q is like the people suit.
The zipper and the scales popping out, or the constant need for I don't know what lizards ask for.
Yeah.
What's their
flies?
Yeah, flies. I have a big request. You have any flies?
You mean to tell me that this is the only dumpster in town with no flies swirling around it? And Patty works tonight?
Yeah, I always thought, and I think it's weird too. I think the biggest conspiracy is that there's no real Quickie Mart because that thing substance.
Oh yeah, okay, but
probably the biggest delusion of them all. See, that's the psychological test you were playing right there.
That's true. That's true.
You were like, it was like triple layer, and the biggest thing was, oh yeah, this is a fictional thing.
But there is like, Q is the lizard people suit version of conspiracy theory.
It's insane.
It makes no sense.
And it's such bullshit too, because it's so specifically targeted at like specific political and celebrities that they don't like.
Yeah.
Like, oh, clearly it's Alec Baldwin, so he must be part of this like thing, or it's LeBron James is a new, one they go after a lot. Yeah. And it's totally fun. That's the other thing that makes it even bigger bullshit too. It's like super specific and involves celebrity. Yeah. All right. So we kind of went off on a tangent there, but like we were talking about the Christmas tree burning. There was some great reactions from that from the right.
Yeah.
Meghan McCain said something really stupid.
Oh yeah.
A lot of weird false equivalencies.
Yeah.
What's the name? The one that sits in between Ducey and the Dullard guy.
I don't know their names. I picture her in my head. Is she Caucasian, blonde? Is that her?
Yeah. Wears a miniskirt. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know her.
She said something profoundly stupid.
Yeah.
Said that this was an attack on Christians and Jews.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird because Jewish people don't
necessarily celebrate Christmas.
No, it's not Christmas trees. Now some do. We call them Hanukkah bushes. We also call them sellouts. Fucking sellouts. Of course, my wife was raised with Christmas trees, so I guess this woman was right on Fox. I feel like she represents me. We have a Christmas tree up in our house. My son gets more gifts. That's basically what it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Or I like to call them spaced out gifts. Somebody said the only way the connection between the tree being anything related to Hanukkah is if it burns for 8 days.
Right.
And it's a Hanukkah miracle. But get the fuck out of here. Attack on Jews. Fuck you, lady. Like,
it's so bizarre.
It's a fucking Christmas tree that got caught on fire outside your stupid building. I'm actually shocked. That it took this long for that to happen.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked that like Fox is in New York City. I used to work at NBC, and there's NBC, there's CBS, and there's Fox, and I think there's like CNN or they're all together, like these major media outlets. They're all like on the same like Park Avenue. And I'm actually, this is why the difference between the right and the left. The right wing nuts are more violent.
Oh yeah,
proven to actually do more violent things. Because if the left was violent, that fucking Fox News building would not be around anymore.
Come on.
Like that's the source of all evil in that area. I mean, they're all bad, but that one's like That's the fucking brain center.
That is like the apartment building in Ghostbusters, like where you saw like the
lives literally on top of it. I mean, like these fucking people work in Fox, and for decades they trash New York City.
Yep.
They trash anything to do with New York, even though they propped up Donald Trump, which is hysterical. I was on that. I found that to be one of the funniest things ever. They spent decades talking about East Coast elites.
So bizarre.
And it's all being said by East Coast only.
Yeah.
It's fucking people. They're super rich. They all live in New York City. It's like such a good grift. It's really like people push, they're like the original NFT pushers.
Yeah. Yeah. You almost admire it, I mean.
If you have no soul.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
Somebody, I forgot, this one guy I used to work with, he said something really funny after Trump won. He's like, man, I'm just gonna change everything I'm about. I'm just gonna make up $1 million by just going after Trump, like selling some product or some bullshit product to Trump supporters, because clearly they are the most easiest fucking group to go after.
Yeah.
Like I just have to get rid of anything I care about.
Right.
Just just put my soul away for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Just take my soul, put it in a box, put it away.
Well, we can talk about that later, because I am launching a set of Stop the Steal NFTs, which I think are going to do really well.
Yeah, and they support the LGBTQ movement, right? I mean, totally. Oh, mostly
they support stopping the steal. That's all they do.
And Q.
And Q, yes.
Yeah, stopping the steal, and oh my God, the stopping the steal Bored Ape.
Yeah, right.
All right, so so now they're talking about censoring Boebert.
Yeah, yeah.
Why? She seems so nice.
Right. She's
even though she's what they call a stochastic terrorist.
Yeah, she's something. I saw the basic deal is that she has engaged in a lot of anti-Muslim rhetoric, right? To put it mildly. Yes. Now we talked about this on our last episode, and I said at the time, that's, even though I find that abhorrent and that's the correct reason to be mad at her, if I were the Democrats, I would just treat this as a workplace issue, which is you are harassing and stalking a coworker.
Don't even make it political. Just say straight up,
yeah. You don't even got to bring religion into it. You can just say, look, you have these coworkers that you keep lying about and harassing. You can't do that, and that's how I would handle it. No one called me and asked, but that's how I would do.
Hey, Joseph.
Right.
It's us.
It's the squad. How should we? There's.
Heard you have ideas.
Well, they're going through, I guess, the House parliamentary protocol, and they went to Pelosi, and Pelosi said that there's going to be consequences, and I'm sure they'll have a vote in the Senate and whatever.
Yeah, Pelosi just has to do some more weddings, officiate weddings with billionaires first.
I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm sure that a bunch of people have gotten in a room and done the math on this, and they're thinking to themselves, what is better? Do we let Boebert and Gates and Marjorie Taylor Greene just become the face of the Republican Party and hope that works well for us in places like?
It won't.
Right.
I don't think make a difference.
Yeah, I disagree with
cancer, and they're just going to grow.
Yeah.
They're fucking cancer.
I think that the better strategy, and the one that more young people will respect, is if you call it out for what it is and do whatever you can to knock it down. That's my thing. That's the strategy they took with Trump, was to let it go and just let Trump be Trump, and then he'll turn it. Look how that turned out, So
what do you think they'll do to? What could they do to Boebert exactly besides censoring her?
I don't know. To be honest with you, they could strip him of committees. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene can't do shit.
Nah, she's completely worthless.
She goes on shows all the time because she like won. I mean, because she's a grifter piece of shit anyway.
I think
And
she sued Pelosi last week for fining her for not wearing a mask or something like a.
fuck her. Like, yeah, those are like the type. Again, most of those lawsuits get thrown out.
Well, I've always said too that like the Democrats shouldn't. This shouldn't even be a Democrat or Republican issue. This should be like, hey, the Capitol Police. Yeah, this is a law enforcement issue. You know.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so. Like, I think there's like some really insidious going on here, and I think like fucking what's her face should put in a cease. What not cease and desist, but like
yeah,
a fucking
yeah.
what they call where someone has to be away from you.
Oh
Like,
yeah, like not a cease and desist. It's not a protection order. What is it called? A restraining
yeah, I think
order.
fucking
Yeah.
Elon should put a fucking restraining order against fucking Boebert. Now
Yeah.
the problem is you do that, and then all of a sudden some Gates does like, oh, I'm going to do this.
Well,
first of all, the Gates one should be simple. That guy should be in jail.
Yeah.
Because he's a pedophile.
That's super frustrating.
Like that's the thing. That's the other joke about Q. You know, we talk about it is that they literally like half the people in Q are literally sex offenders.
Yeah.
Like, in some way.
Well, I would say, yeah, like a restraining order or something. Or honestly, like I don't know why these the Democratic congresspersons aren't just suing Boebert for defamation or for slander or whatever. Like Boebert gets up there often and says these jokes about
jokes.
Well, that's the advantage of suing them, is that you get Boebert to offer in defense, and her defense is either no, I really think she might be bombing people or whatever, and then you win the court case, or Boebert says, I'm just joking, I don't believe any of that stuff, and then that's your next campaign ad.
I mean, the problem is with the whole thing is that Boebert is not running against Ilhan Omar. That's the issue. See, that's the other thing too. That's why I think it's more of just like a straight up harassment thing, because these people, unless they enter into they're not in the same state.
Yeah.
So they're not even going to run for a higher office of anything against each other, like Senate or governor or whatever. The only way that would ever actually be any type of it would be if they ran for president against each other, and that's slim to none because, well, once her face wasn't even born here, so that's, and the other one's legally not allowed to run because she's an incest baby. I think that might be in the Constitution.
Yeah, I do think
I'll get my people on it to let me know. Oh, it is. Yeah, totally. It's totally in the Constitution. It says that. It says we the people who are not incest babies in brackets. Says it right in the beginning.
Well,
but it's there. It's there, folks.
I don't know what they're going to do about Boebert. I know that I want them to do something. I think
they have to change her name to Blowbert.
I like Hubert.
That's your new name. Your new name now is Blowbert.
Yeah. It is weird to see like Boebert. I don't know. A lot of these people get by because they just like have staged little press events, and they don't submit to questions and they don't answer questions, and I don't know. I just think
it's funny because like they're going after she's doing this character assassination on Ilhan Omar, and I mean I think Ilhan Omar has done a good job of like countering her as best as she can without being brought down to her childish level. I mean, at the end of the day, Ilhan Omar is a serious person.
Yeah.
And she's literally wants to do shit for her, constituents. Well, Boebert's just a fucking waste of, is a failure of our electoral system.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that we could say is that the only thing good about it is that she might be gone next year just because.
I hope so. She represents like, not population wise, but like the Colorado's 3rd district is like half of Colorado. It's the whole western half of Colorado.
Hopefully some people woke up and been like, yeah.
Well, it's like the big cities there are all those weird Air Force Christian nationalist cities.
Those people are fucking weird. I know. It's really strange how like Midwest, man.
It is. Well, and a lot of these bigger states are, well, like I always talk about Oregon. When I lived in Oregon, you had like Salem, Corvallis, Portland, and Eugene on the western side of Oregon, super liberal, super progressive, but like 90% of the state to the east of I-5 was
the
like
Bundy clan.
It was like the Bundy clan.
It's literally the Ammon Bundy people.
Yeah. So
it's like Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is like, if it weren't for Philly and Pittsburgh,
yeah,
same thing. It'd be red as fuck.
Yeah.
Same thing. Honestly, same thing as like California. I mean, California, everyone thinks it's liberal bastion. Again, I lived in Chico, and it was somewhat liberal. I think again, it was more like Ron Paul land, but like that whole area is red as fuck. And the funny thing too was when they were looking at like the recall election, and when they did the recall election against Newsom, that whole area was red up there. And then they said basically, if you just looked at the COVID map, the worst cases of COVID and the anti-vaxxers were, it was all the areas that heavily voted for the recall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really kind of sad how like you can just take like a whole population, just sink them into something, and they've just fallen. They've all fallen for that. Like,
yes. I wonder, like, I see these statistics, and I know they're true. I mean, they're just statistics. I mean, they're but where like Republicans or red districts like are 7 times more likely to have deaths associated with coronavirus. I wonder if that's going to affect the election outcomes in some areas. There's a lot of places that are real close, like
it's got it in some cases.
In some, I'm sure in some.
I mean, I don't think it'll be what you think it is, but it especially with like if more variants come and these people refuse to get vaccinated and they're just living their life the way they want to. I don't know what to say. We'll see. I think we're entering that time of, we're entering Christmas time and New Year's. And this is also going to be the biggest COVID spreading times.
Yeah.
And we'll see how, honestly, like the second week of January will be a real good indicator where we're at with the virus because, people are going to have their little get-togethers and some are going to have bigger than others and they're not going to get it. And especially the ones that refuse to get vaccinated and stuff. And we'll see. I mean, we saw it last year. We saw people, there were spikes.
Yeah. My wife went to go get her booster over the weekend, and so I'm with her, and the guy ahead of us, he said he got we were like pretty far behind him in line, the older guy wearing a mask, and he's at the physician's, at the pharmacy counter, and he wanted a COVID shot. But the people are like, look, we do this by appointment. These people have appointments. If we can fit you in, we'll fit you in, but it ain't going to be right now. And he's a little pissed off and whatever. But he said that he had his first and second shot like a while back, and then he got a Pfizer booster. And he said his doctor told him to go back and get a Moderna booster too, a second booster. Have you ever heard of that?
That can't. No, that's bull. Okay, either this guy is mental, doesn't know time anymore.
He looked normal.
Okay, it's possible that this was his booster and he's confusing.
I don't know. I just was like
it doesn't make any sense. No. There's no fourth shot. They can't give you one.
He wanted.
I'm sure you can get one in the back alley.
He wanted the other kind of booster too. Was his thing.
Yeah, that's weird. Whatever. Hey. Better than not, right?
Yeah, right. I would have given it to him. I'd have been like, sir.
I know you would give it to him, but I don't think you should. Because
you have come to the right place, my good
man. I have no moral or integrity, and I'm not even a pharmacist, so I have no skin in this game.
I'm going to do you one better. I've got a Moderna NFT. Now, let me tell you how this works.
Yeah, it's an ape holding. It says Moderna on a backwards baseball cap.
And he's holding a little syringe here. Now, for only 7 moon Lambos, I will.
For 0.19 Ethereum. Oh, wow, what a deal. Yeah, that's like 20 grand.
I need 7011 ether crumbs from you. Like, well, okay.
Ball sacks. All right, so, I mean, we'll see what moving to censor Boebert will do or anything. I just don't understand how some of these, I mean, I think stripping our committees and the Democrats got to do something anyway, because there is a good chance they could lose the House just based on like isn't the DOJ or something sued Texas for all the gerrymandering?
Last
Which is
week
a good thing. I hope they sue the shit out of them, because that right there will throw the election.
Yeah. Well, I looked, and honestly, like, I looked at the results after I saw that Trump didn't win Texas by that much.
No, he didn't. That's what I said, that if Beto was on the ticket last time I said that, if he ran against Cornyn, if he lost, he probably would have gotten Biden Texas just by being on, having more of a reason for people to come out and vote full force.
Yeah. But Trump won Texas 52-46. Now that is a win, like a solid win. I'm not saying that it was like, oh, it was real close.
Not a cremation like those other red states have.
There's plenty of states where like it was 60-40 or something, which is really a pretty insurmountable.
Now, that doesn't mean that the next election will go to the Democrats, but if it's trending that way within a decade or two or whatever, there's a good chance that Texas could go to a Democratic candidate.
Look, if it's an 8-point loss, all right, and that was with Texas fucking around with the election and
oh yeah, they fucked around with this election. It's probably higher. It's probably should have been even closer than it was.
Putting Houston through the ringer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now,
like that fucking drop-off box where like people that live in fucking Wizardsville, Texas, which is like, I think that's literally a name of an area. There's like 40 people that live there. They get a box. And like Houston gets, the whole city of Houston gets a box.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. That was like, Clansville Station, Texas, population 80, gets 4 polling locations. And Houston, Texas, the 4th largest city in the United States, gets 4 as well, because that's equal.
Even Steven, hey, dude, everyone gets their fair share.
But imagine that they fix the voting. And imagine that the Republicans have done what they've done with abortion and this, that, and whatever. And all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe the next time the Democrats lose 51-49 or whatever. Or like that's obviously still losing, but like.
But it's enough to make them fucking freak out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why they went full force this year. I mean, one, as a fuck you to Biden and just to fuck with him, get in the paper. I mean, listen, Abbott gets in the paper every time he does something shitty.
Well, and
he gets headlines.
Republicans know too that their time is short. I mean, like anything they do is kind of a stalling measure. People are getting more progressive.
Yeah, but if Democrats don't do enough to like counter this shit, or progressives or whatever don't do enough, and I don't mean like, just go out and simply vote. I mean like put in the measures that make sure these people cannot do gerrymandering, cannot.
Well, that's the thing.
Off box, make it that anyone can mail in a ballot. That's the other thing too. That's the one thing they're trying to get rid of, which they did successfully in Texas, right? Was the mail-in ballot.
I don't know. I mean, like, there's so many like things that I think I think with all this election stuff, the Democrats think falsely. I think they're in error thinking this, that if you just make voting easier, it'll work out well for Democrats. And I think the Republicans think, mistakenly too, that if you just tighten it up, it'll work out good for Republicans. Because fucking plenty of super old people vote Republican, and they need drop boxes and they need.
Oh no! If you notice, they're more lame. You find out, especially like in Florida stuff, DeSantis will make it that brown areas, more brown areas. But those old people, those precious old people that live like in the what's that weird, the village or whatever?
The village, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, don't worry.
The villages.
It's like the same thing with like the vaccines. Like he made sure like specific old people in Florida got those vaccines first before anyone else did.
Well, I don't know. I do know that this kind of like leads in well to our next one with the January 6th stuff, is that the Democrats need to start hammering people that pull shit like this.
It's not just the Democrats in general, but like fucking, what was it, DOJ?
Yeah.
I mean, look with Bannon. I know Bannon's thing's not technically. Is it tied? It's not really 100% tied to January 6th, Bannon's case, but he was supposed to go to court or something like this in like April, whatever, and then he was arguing with them to make it in October. He probably wanted to do that so it would be headlines during the election next year because it's a midterm. But I think they pushed it to they settled on July.
I think so, yeah.
But it's like, what the fuck is like? Why is this fucking piece of shit get so much like privilege?
Well,
you get the fucking case when you get the case, asshole. Like,
yeah. I just don't know. I think the biggest thing for me is like I don't know why this is being handled via Congress. This is a law enforcement issue. This shouldn't be Congress is like negotiating to have people come in.
Yeah, was that Mark Meadows was supposed to be there.
Yeah, with a Department of Justice or an independent prosecutor or something like that. You just say, hey, we need to talk to you, and if the person doesn't, okay, well we're going to send a squad car, and then you can sit in jail until you talk to us.
Yeah,
you know, I mean that's how it should be done. This is so basic. So basic.
I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't understand like what they're inviting into. Like the Republicans get into power. Let's say the Republicans win the Congress, right?
Right.
They could, in theory, take the Senate. They could. You don't know. You gotta think the worst, but they take just the Congress, dude. They're gonna like impeach Biden like 4 times.
Oh yeah. Well, the weird. I was thinking about that tonight. The weird thing is like all their arguments right now are, you don't have to listen to Congress. You don't have to do anything they say. So the minute they take over Congress, I have to imagine
you have to listen.
Well, I'd imagine the Democrats are just going to be like, well, Matt, like you said 6 months ago, go pound sand. We're just not going to come. You can take us to court. We'll see in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, I think one of the greatest and weakest moments was Hillary Clinton during that 11 hours.
Yeah.
You know what was that guy's name who ran it? Like
Trey Gowdy, was it?
What?
Was it Trey Gowdy?
Yeah. Hey Trey, you know what? Just stick your head up your ass.
Yeah.
Or I'll do your thing if you stick your head up your ass the whole time.
Right.
You get your head up your asshole, I'll come to I'll let you talk to me for that. I mean,
I will show up if you wear
what?
Yeah. I'll show up if you wear a wig and giant red nose.
Yeah. Exactly. You wear a big
honk a horn after each question. Like,
well, he might do that anyway because those you ever see those racist honkler frogs?
Oh yeah.
You know what that is?
I've
seen
Nazi.
It's a literal Nazi shit.
Is it?
Yeah, it's honk honk. It's Heil Hitler.
Jesus.
So whenever you see like someone with a Pepe clown that says honk honk, they're literally saying Heil Hitler.
Classic.
Great, right? It's cool. But I mean, like,
I am 100% going to sell my racist frog honk honk NFT tomorrow. That's true.
Oh, you will definitely get some fucking dark money very quickly. Like rare Pepe's or whatever. It's funny though, what NFT shit and blockchain shit. A lot of that started with like Pepe.
There is a ton of
rare
overlap
Pepe.
between Bitcoin people and Trump racist frog.
They totally get pushed a lot by like extreme right wingers.
Yeah.
And stuff. They pushed the whole like this money's untraceable, so you can
They want an alternative to banking.
You can go. Well, it pushes the whole like it's like anti-Jewish conspiracy, which is fucking bananas and complete bullshit. And on top of it, just trying to create this false like we're the rebels, the bankers, even though like they're gonna be running crypto anyway, so who gives a shit? The banks are gonna be fucking in charge at some point. It's like the biggest joke was like legalizing weed for years. They said like, okay, we legalize, but guess what? Who do you think's gonna be like running it? It's gonna be fucking Marbo and all these other companies that have they're gonna get all the laws in their favor, and they're gonna like sell shitty weed, and price out people. That's why you gotta keep it legal, man.
I'll add another thing onto the January 6th stuff, which is kind of interesting. They're still making arrests. There's an arrest today, I think, today or yesterday, some guy in Washington State. And I love that. I think that's so funny because this chud has probably been looking over his shoulder for a whole year, not being able to enjoy a single moment of being free, knowing that the feds are going to show up on his door. And now they have, and he's sitting in jail. And I think that's hilarious.
What's funny, though, is like, I'll take January 6th, all these things seriously. When I see someone get a larger prison sentence than the fucking
2 months or something. Yeah.
Yeah. What?
More than like 2 months or something.
No, I mean like a higher prison sentence than the freaking shaman who got like almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'll see if they're serious when they start giving like the people like, you know, holding the fucking what do you call those twist ties?
Yeah.
Or, you know, the guy carrying the gallows, you know, or the like like when those people, I want to see if those people get 5 years, 6 years, I'll say okay, they're definitely starting to take this seriously.
Yeah.
But like just arresting, like giving people partial sentences or whatever, and then giving the shaman who's like the stupidest person there,
yeah.
like the biggest sentence to me is not serious. It's like or I want to see like one of the politicians have to like speak and put on, like you said, they should make it like a criminal thing and actually have like someone who's like, yeah, you better show up. You'll be taking in. And
we need your phone records, and we're getting them.
Like, do you think Matt Gaetz really wants to sit in prison for a year?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
he'll claim he does, but I mean, he might be in a prison cell anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the January 6th things, but man, they better hurry up and start doing stuff because, you know, as election time comes, people will be like, well, we're still doing this, or like, and then the fucking Republicans will, if they take the House, man, it's gonna be a disaster.
It will be.
It'll be like 2 years of just nonsense and like just fucking with like nothing getting done.
It's hard to say. I mean, like, I guess my focus will be on this more so in like, 6 months. But yeah, I'd.
Well, I mean, a lot of stuff also in the media gets pushed by people and they try to downplay January 6th, especially in right-wing media, of course. They try to downplay it, or they do the classic thing where like they'll say, oh, it was Antifa was there. That's my favorite. These fucking assholes do this all the time. There was recently like this hate group that was in either, I don't know, it was in New York City or DC. They showed up. There was this huge amount of people, not huge, but like a lot.
Yeah.
They're all wearing masks and they're part of like Patriot Front or something. It's like some Nazi shit. And of course, like Alex Jones and all of them, they always do this classic thing where they're like, oh, those were Antifa.
Right.
CIA's doing it. It wasn't the good people that were there. And it's like the same people who are like, they're on TikTok bragging how they're going to show up there and participate in this thing. And then those same people will be like, oh, no, that was Antifa.
Right.
Like the most like worst gaslighting ever. But speaking of gaslighters, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot about this. I don't spend too much time about this, but like he was like praising Putin or something.
He's been praising. I mean, this has kind of been like a running thing with Republican commentators ever since Trump won, and Trump was like in bed with Putin. This, I think, mostly deals with the Ukraine, and that they don't want the U.S. to defend Ukraine. They want Russia to be able to take over Ukraine.
Ukraine not weak. You know where that's from?
No, where?
Seinfeld.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kramer and Newman are playing Risk.
Right.
They take it really seriously. They make Seinfeld, like they make the board stay at Seinfeld's place. He's Switzerland or something.
Right.
But then they're on the subway and they're playing it. And Kramer goes on like, you don't want Ukraine. Ukraine is weak. And then there's this like old man and like a full like right. He's like, what do you mean Ukraine not weak? I'm Ukraine strong, and he smashes the board. It's really fun. But that was not what Tucker Carlson. Yeah, I know the right. It's really funny. It's like a woman was basically, she dropped out of like the running for a position in the Biden administration.
Yes.
Do you know what position it was? Something to do with like, was it something to do with banking regulations or something?
I don't know.
Well, whatever, they were like the right wing and stuff was like saying she was like a communist and all. It's like she was born in a country where she didn't have a fucking choice. It's not it
was really sad that Kennedy, that asshole from Louisiana, was questioning her, and he's like, "Is it true that you remember the
communist?"
He's like, were you a member of the Communist Party? Like fucking straight out of McCarthy.
Dude, that
And
guy's made out of jelly. He's not a real person.
the woman goes, that motherfucker went to Oxford in England. He's like
Yeah,
one
I
of the
know.
most
He's like,
educated.
"How you tell me this?"
Talking like he
like
fell off of the Bubba's shrimp boat or something.
like
he,
wagon.
yeah. And he's like, were you a member of the Communist Party? And the woman is like taken aback. She's like, I was like 6. And that was in the Soviet Union, which doesn't exist anymore. And whenever a kid was born, they put them in the Communist Party. That's just what happened.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, like, I don't like people who are like Nazis, like people in their 20s, 30s, and above that were Nazis. I fault them.
yes.
The children, though, yeah, I mean,
look,
brainwashing.
If you were,
I'm not gonna what?
Yeah, if you were 6 years old and in the Hitler Youth, that's just something that happened to you, probably.
Yeah, you weren't given a choice. You clearly, I mean, maybe 1 or 2 of them were like, but they probably just wanted to be with their friends.
Yeah,
kind of like how that goes. Jojo Rabbit, we talked about that. We did a whole episode about that. That's a good one. But like this woman dropped out, right? And they're like, she's like a, I don't know. Regardless, it's just funny how like anything to do with communism, but like they love Putin.
Oh, they do.
They love the former KGB. Basically, KGB was the CIA of Russia. I mean, the whole thing is super fucking weird. It's super odd. They want to be politically aligned with them. Putin and Russia are not they're not communists. If anything, they're hard right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they want to be politically aligned. They're politically aligned with them. The right-wing Republican Party of this country is more politically aligned with Putin than they are with their fellow congressmen.
Well, they have a boner for Putin because they see Putin as a strong leader, and their complaint against American leaders has always been that they're like kind of weak or wishy-washy.
Yeah, they don't poison their Trump tried to do a Putin where he tried to fight in COVID.
A lot of like the hard right-wing Trump supporters are even a little pissed at Trump. They're like, why didn't he invade Mexico? Why didn't he put tanks at the border? Why didn't they are, and honestly, I see a lot of people online that used to live in Central or Eastern Europe that immigrated here to the US because the US is, and they kind of want like a return to that old European, Central European autocrat type of government.
It's just interesting because like most of Trump's presidency was all about like trying to get that straight or whatever it is with Ukraine. It's like it's basically just so that it'd be easier for Putin to make more money off of oil.
Yeah.
That's all it is. At the end of the day, it's all about that. It's all about like making sure that within the Ukraine there's access to this, and he doesn't have access to it.
Well, I'll tell you, that part of the world is super fucked up. And it's been super fucked up for like bare minimum 70, 80 years, ever since the wars. But it was super fucked up before then, and it's like, I don't know, it's just a very complicated little area. But the bottom line is like Ukraine, I think, is in NATO. I think it's part of NATO. So we got to throw in with them when they're threatened. That's just how that works.
Yeah, and then of course the right wing now is all like, it's funny because like John McCain was like super super supportive of Ukraine. Like would love to have started a war with Russia if he could, right?
Yeah.
And that's the main reason why fucking Trump hated fucking McCain. It wasn't just like McCain represented the old anti that viewed Russia as, regardless of communist or whatever, as an adversary. Always. And that's why it's so bizarre the Republican Party is now like has this huge boner for Putin. It makes no sense. It's super weird. It's very strange. I don't get it. Like how did they did this massive flip-flop? Well, it's like
you remember all those, like Ron Johnson and a bunch of Republicans went to Moscow on the 4th of July, and Trump was super
patriotic thing to do is go to Moscow for the 4th of July.
It seems like there's a decent number of Republican political leaders that have some sort of interest in propping up Russia. Like a personal vested financial
they are
interest.
A white supremacist country.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, I don't mean like they're not like they're white supremacists. I mean, like they don't really have they like look and they fit into whatever model of white supremacy the right wingers in this country have. They don't really have like they're not diverse.
No.
And they're like a white ethno state.
Yeah.
And that could be part of it. That, I mean, I'm sure that's an element. I don't think the whole thing. Who the fuck knows? I think it's just again aligning with, it's like the right wing and the extreme right wing in this country wants to politically align with other extreme right wing countries around the world.
Yeah.
So when they take power, there will be a hard right bloc. I mean, that's kind of what was happening in the country around the world when Trump was president. One of the biggest fears was that psychopath getting in France.
Le
Pen or whatever.
Marie Le Pen, yeah.
And it would be like this domino effect, and you would see hard right candidates win in Germany, and that's happening. That's just scary. It's funny, like hard right like candidates in like other countries, like that's like, but like Germany, because it has that, it has that history. You get a little more like they're like, yes, that's our goal, is to make sure another Nazi gets in.
Well, it is real scary, and it did make that sort of nationalism made a big leap with like Brexit and Trump and Boris Johnson. There was a big run of it for a little while.
Oh yeah,
but like everything they touched turned to shit.
Well, they're clowns. They're not. They're everything
so
they do has no lasting value because it's destructive by nature.
Yeah,
like there's no like they're not really building anything that's going to work later. It's all about just sucking up the resources for their buddies to give them money-making deals. It's not really about
it's so short-sighted. It's so
So yeah, and Tucker's a piece of shit.
And
Putin's a piece of shit. So Tucker, of course, is going to defend Putin. Now, Putin, if you're listening to this, please don't poison me.
Yes. Yeah, don't. Right?
What?
Yeah, don't.
Please don't, especially when we go to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Did you know about the new item, Taco Bell?
Is it the Hatch chili smoothie?
It's called the Putin Melt Surprise.
Nice. It's like irradiated fire sauce. Like,
super. Yeah, it's got like a little radioactive symbol instead of swirly chili in the center. It's a radioactive. Wow. They make it like caliente looking. It's what's the nuclear power plant that
exploded? The Chernobyl?
Chernobyl
sauce.
Chernobyl chips are so good. A little spicy. They got a kick.
Yeah.
They have a half-life that lasts
500 years.
Thousands of years. What's that? What is it?
Plutonium, is it? Or
like a half-life of like 1 million years.
Oh yeah.
Like how do you even like scale that? Like
I don't know.
Be around like we're dead.
Well, that's just a half-life. I mean, apparently people can live with like a decent amount of radiation. I mean, there's radiation everywhere. So
yeah, there is.
There's been like a decent amount of study on Chernobyl, and some of the stuff that's happening is pretty cool. Like a lot of animal species have moved in there because there's no man. There's no pollution, aside from the radiation.
Well, the hills have eyes, people.
But they say like the animals are relatively healthy and they're thriving, and it's like kind of this pristine nature habitat. So
when they start walking and talking,
right? Yeah, when
that's when that really starts.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Well, I guess we're gonna shift to
speaking of. Well, are there any hogs in Chernobyl? Walking, talking hogs?
Yes. Kyle Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah. So, if you've listened to this podcast, you know that we spoke about this young man, this young gentleman, who happened to murder 2 people and permanently maim someone for no good reason whatsoever. Of course, the right will create a story saying that it's really funny. They say that he killed 2 pedophiles or something like that. Yeah. And if that was the case, that's intent, and that's actually a bigger crime.
Yeah.
Like if he knew who they were and hunted them down, like that's actually like a bigger crime. But whatever. And they're also lying. So this piece of shit literally got away with murder. I mean, there might be other cases against him. I'm sure there'll be a civil suit of some sort. But I don't think I know you said the DOJ could go after him. How come the state? Okay, so he got tried in Wisconsin, right?
Yes.
But he killed the guy isn't he from Michigan?
I think he's from Illinois, and he killed the people in Wisconsin. So that's where he got tried, is where he killed the people. So theoretically, like I guess someone in Illinois could probably find something to prosecute him on.
Like fleeing a crime.
Or certainly like illegal possession of a firearm or crossing state lines to commit a crime, or they could have done something. But I'll tell you, after Rittenhouse got found not guilty on like all those charges, that really gave him a lot of protection from some of these other things. Now, civil suits are going to come, and hopefully the DOJ does something. But I think this one just got away. I think he committed the crime in full view of everyone and got away with it.
Now he's bragging. He went on Tucker Carlson like literally the day after.
Yeah.
He got to go on vacation in Puerto Rico. They said that it's really weird how the hard right in this country love to vacation in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
They said he probably was gifted a bunch of crypto. I think like you can get a lot of stuff in Puerto Rico with cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And that he probably was gifted a lot of crypto from like, right-wing chuds and everything. And he's been on several podcasts, like he's been on several YouTube shows. I just saw one recently where he's sitting there and he's talking to these people, and he's acting like he's like a mini Joe Rogan or something. And he was talking about how like LeBron James could go fuck himself. It's like, dude, you literally killed people. LeBron James thinks you're an asshole because you're a murderer.
Yeah.
Like LeBron James is not the enemy here. He's not the villain. I think the villain might be the guy telling LeBron James to go fuck himself.
Might be you, Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. LeBron James, I don't really follow basketball. I'm not really, I'm no expert or whatever, but I would say that he's probably considered like a living legend.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
He's like the closest thing to like a second Michael Jordan.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just going by Space Jam rules. Like if you were in a Space Jam movie and you're the star, then clearly you're considered the next Michael Jordan. Like I just dictate how good these basketball players are based on the Space Jam franchise.
Yeah, we don't make the rules; those just are the rules.
Yeah.
It's just.
But regardless, LeBron James is a living legend, and Kyle Rittenhouse is a little piece of shit that won't amount to nothing.
Yeah.
There's people who are saying like, "Oh, this is all gonna blow up in his face," and all this thing. Like, I posted.
I doubt it.
On Instagram of that. I posted this. I got some crazy people on there, but I'll share that one with you in a second. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to suffer any ill effects.
I don't think he gives a shit.
Yeah.
Who cares? I said, what an amazing country we live in. You could murder 2 people in cold blood and also permanently maim someone and get away with it. As a reward, you become a right-wing hero and a YouTube personality. Great role model for the kids. Great country. Good job.
Yeah.
And this fucking weirdo sent me this message. This, hope you stupid famous ass. It sees this. The MF is a feline with a gun, but hold on, sorry, but doesn't get charged right. Self-defense, bud. I'm like literal psycho shit. Most people look at me and they were like, "Yeah, that kid's a piece of shit." Then these people think that like this story is gonna like blow up. And like he's gonna like something bad's gonna happen to him. I don't mean like he's gonna get killed.
Well,
but like he's just gonna have like a breakdown. I don't think he cares. I think he's a sociopath.
Yeah, I agree.
There was literal evidence that the judge threw out, which stated that Kyle Rittenhouse either shared on social media or something, where he said a couple of weeks before he killed Rosenbaum and the other guy and maimed the other dude, that he wanted to go take his AR and shoot people, right?
Yeah.
And the judge said, no, I'm not going to recognize that. Any other case, that would have been the end of that person. That is intent. That shows that he planned on doing that. I mean, you can, if he didn't do any of that, and then you could just say he's just a boy being stupid.
Yeah.
But he followed through with it. It's like the kid in Michigan that did the shooting. You know what's fucked up? I didn't know about this. Well, besides the fact that his parents are all fucked up, and didn't
Yeah.
they try escaping? They like
they like hid in a
$7,000
warehouse or
in
something.
Detroit or something.
Yeah.
They were there that day to meet like the principal or something about this kid's behavior.
Right.
They were there earlier that morning when that kid killed people.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
I made a joke, but I wasn't kidding. I said that the right is going to try to like give this kid the Rittenhouse treatment, and they kind of did a little bit. Not to this kid's fucked. Like his parents are going to get arrested. This is a different. What state is this in?
That's in Michigan.
Okay, I think they probably are. I don't know. Maybe they take shit a little more serious there than Wisconsin does. I don't know.
Well, I think they have laws where they can do stuff with this, and the prosecuting attorney is like, yeah, we're going to follow through on this.
I mean, they could craft this kid was doing self-defense. Not at all. Not on a school ground. This isn't like. I mean, regardless, but like the Rittenhouse thing. This kid has no remorse at all. I think he's a sociopath. I think he like this kid was his fake cry, and then his cry for that when he was freed. That's all it was not about anybody. It was no tears to the people that he killed. It was no tears. It was all about his own freedom.
Yeah.
The fact that he got away with murder. That's the only thing that kid's gonna be known for doing. That's it. And there's gonna be a bunch of psychopaths that are gonna think that he's a hero. And that is truly fucking insane.
Yeah.
We live in a dark culture if that kid is like considered a hero to people.
There's going to be it's going to happen. Like the MAGA chuds are going to see him as a hero till they're all gone.
But I just think it's insane that this kid, like, I remember, like, okay, I watched him on the Tucker thing, and I'm like, okay, it's just an interview, and this kid's gonna go away. But then he's like on TP, whatever the fuck that is, Turning Point, with Charlie Kirk and Jack Posiak. He was on with him. And then he's on this like this other like YouTube podcast, which was like where he's just chilling with these like
he's a bro.
He's just a bro. He's just hanging out, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck is going? That to me is the worst. Yeah, that is the worst.
That makes sense.
Like, dude, even OJ after he got away with killing couldn't do this shit.
Right.
This is some kind of weird ass like privilege or something that like only thing I could. It blows my mind. Like I said, I cannot, and again, they're like, yeah, good, liberal tears. Yeah, I drink your liberal tears. It's like, no, I don't even give a fuck about this kid at all. It's like, it's what it represents.
Yeah.
This kid could go fuck off. I don't even like, his name could be fucking Charlie Bitterhouse. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's what happened and what it did. That kid should have been thrown in jail. He murdered people.
Yeah.
This is a bad precedent. And now he's going on shows, being invited, being treated like a guest of honor.
Well, it's
little shit.
It's just so galling because he does seem real comfortable on camera. He seems real relaxed with himself.
Yeah.
He seems like.
Oh, they said he hired an acting coach for his.
Yeah, I believe it.
Hey, good for him. You'll get a podcast. I mean,
sure.
There's a bunch of sick fucks out there ready to have podcast, but they didn't.
Fuck.
I mean, fuck, that you don't get any more legit. Hey, welcome to the Kyle Rittenhouse Hour.
Yeah.
Prepare to get murdered.
Now
you're here. Coming to you now is the hero of the hour.
God. I'll wait until they release all episodes at once and binge that.
Yeah. And then you kill yourself afterwards.
Right.
Really.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's on Crackle or Tubi or whatever those weird.
It's on, what is the horror movie one?
Chud.
Chud.
Shutter.
Yeah, that'll be on
Shutter. Just like no, that's too scary for them. They're like, listen,
look, we draw the line.
Scary monsters with fun go. This is just like on a level of this shit's too real. Well, speaking, the problem is that we're gonna have more and more Rittenhouses because just because of things like lack of education. And one of them is like CRT, as an example. I mean, it's not even about, like, to me, okay, so critical race theory,
Yep.
which really isn't like a thing that gets taught in class. It's
No,
more
not really. It's not taught in the high school level
what
or
the
elementary, middle.
red states and all these other like governors and politicians are using this as like a new McCarthyism boogeyman.
Yeah.
They call it like this is the craziest thing. Like, was it like social Marxist socialism or something?
It
Which
yeah,
I heard is like literally a Nazi talking point aimed at like it's something that like the Nazis would do back then. It was like so it's like it's not cultural Marxism. That's
okay.
what they call it.
Yeah,
And
I always hear that as being talked about like it's critical theory or something, that you can take a Marxist perspective on something.
no, but the right wing uses this term called cultural Marxism, where
Okay.
it's like basically saying that like the Jews and all these
Oh,
other like
Jesus.
people are like trying to make it that like there's trans people and black people and all these people in our culture and they're trying to integrate to weaken the white race. And this is part of it. I mean, that has literally been going on. That's what they claim, and they use that. And CRT, the anti-CRT, kind of plays into that too. So you get these people who say like cultural Marxism and stuff like that, and they connect it with CRT. So it's kind of just like a shame because we're just gonna have some really poorly educated kids for the next couple of decades.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be something,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was texting you the other night. My kid is 10 and is working through the American Revolution social studies unit. And it's a lot of it's like pretty par for the course. It's geared towards fifth graders. It doesn't have a ton of nuance. The colonists are kind of portrayed mostly as good guys, and the British are portrayed mostly as bad guys. But within the text and within her homework, there are some interesting things. And one is like looking at the perspective of slaves and why might they choose to fight with the British? Why might they choose to fight with the colonists? What were their obligations? Like, why would they fight for the colonists when the colonists essentially bought and sold them?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was like, but these are like pretty thought-provoking questions for fifth grade. I mean, it's a reasonably like this is probably like an introduction into things like CRT. There's another evening where
wait, hold on. Here's the great thing about CRT is they have no idea what it is, but anything
yeah.
that sounds like anything to do with questioning anything about like white nationalism in this country or white patriarchy or whatever it is,
Yep.
it will be lumped in and crumpled in with CRT. So they can push and find anything. I mean, like if you talk about like who invented like a certain sport and they don't like it because it might be a black person attached to it or a science that a black person was attached to it, they can claim that CRT.
Well, I think that's how the law is set up in Texas, at least, is that if the teacher doesn't want to teach something, then they have a little leeway to not teach it. And I think the bigger danger is that as more and more chuds take over school boards, they can use this law as a cudgel, right? Like normally, like if you have a decent school board, let's even just say like a normal
non-QAnon,
just like
Kyle Rittenhouse's innocent school board.
Let's even say they're Republican, they're terrible people, but they're normal Republicans, like the kind you used to see.
Yeah, I scheduled my vaccine. I'm getting it later today.
These people, these school boards are going to be like, of course the Holocaust happened, and of course it was bad. You can teach that. And they might say, you might get some bullshit stuff in there, like Civil War was mostly about states' rights. I mean, you may get some bullshit, but it's going to be like the normal bullshit that people have been fighting about for a little while.
But if you the Daughters of the Confederacy for that.
Yes. But if you get a QAnon school board, like in Southlake or there's QAnon, then you're going to get lesson plans where a nut job parent says, my kid came home and said that the Germans perpetrated the Holocaust and we're Germans, and that made my kid
grandfather, her great grandfather.
It made my kid sad. So what are you going to do about it? And then you get the QAnon school board to fire the teacher and say, look, there's serious debate over whether or not the Holocaust occurred. A lot of people think those numbers are inflated. So we're not. That's why. I mean, that's the big danger.
Yeah.
And then they have a law.
Or you get like a teacher does which was not our our school, but the neighborhood in the neighborhood, where the middle school, whatever, has a yearbook, and there's tolerance in the end of it, and parents lose their fucking mind that there was some tolerance to it,
right?
And now that person doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's
trying
the
to
real
be a good teacher.
That's the real danger. In most places in Texas, just like with all these things, most places everywhere, none of this will matter. None of this will matter. But in places where QAnon nut jobs have taken over the school board, this will matter a great deal.
I mean, I know you say it doesn't matter, but it does. It will matter. It's a slow burn. And let me tell you, that lakeside shit, I mean, that's really close to us.
Yeah.
That has already spread. Because let me tell you, people who can't, Lakeside's always been expensive, and people who can't afford Lakeside, where do you think they go next?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well,
it's just like anything, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I guess
I lived in Astoria. All the hipsters who couldn't afford Williamsburg, you know where they went? To Astoria. I'm saying that's the same thing, but I'm saying this shit spreads like a fucking virus. Literally, it's a disease. And yeah, there's still rational thinkers out there, but these people, man, they grow like a fungus and wake up one day and you're like whole trees covered in fucking toadstools, and you're like, when did this happen? I'm not even joking. You ever notice that? You ever you go outside one day and then like you don't go outside for like a week, you don't leave your house for a week. I mean, you don't go in the backyard for like a week, and then all of a sudden you just see like fully grown mushrooms. You're like, when the fuck did this happen? And then that's exactly what this is. This is exactly what this is. It's scary as shit, and it's top down because it's coming from Abbott, who's gladly signing it, and he's gonna make it when he runs against Beto, he's gonna try to make that one of his talking points. I mean, I hope Beto can call him out on his bullshit and say, like, you know, you want me to say something about CRT? How about you say something? When are you gonna fix? What do you have to say about the power grid?
Right.
You know? That's how Beto wins, is by
talking about real problems that people have really experienced.
You change the conversation, you know, and you do that. I don't know what to say. I just think like this is all bad, and it leads to more.
I tend to agree.
All right, so I mean, we're leading up to other bad things. Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Do you like Pizza Hut?
Look, I like Pizza Hut a whole lot. I just don't consider it pizza. Like, I
call it's a hut that you eat.
I like Pizza Hut just fine.
Not too long ago. It's too greasy.
Yeah, it is. It's too greasy. It's too thick. When I think of pizza, I grew up in New Jersey. The pizza of my youth was kind of like the New Jersey, New York, real thin slice that you kind of fold over in half. It's a very distinct thing. Do I like, would I eat Domino's or Pizza Hut sure. I like them just fine. It's not pizza in my head. It's more of like
food.
Yeah, it's food. It's good.
It's bread. It's breaded food.
Yeah. And I like frozen pizzas, and I like every kind of pizza, but yeah, Pizza Hut, they're fine.
But that's not what we're talking about.
No, I do remember back in the day, and I don't know, I haven't seen them in a while, that you used to be able to go to Kentucky Huts, which is a combination Kentucky Fried Chicken, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut.
Yeah, those are weird.
Yeah, I don't know if they still have them.
There's a near us. There's a KFC Taco Bell.
Oh, okay.
Really close.
Huh.
I'm surprised you don't know about that. I figured.
Yeah.
Taco Bell and dude, it's really close to your house. It's like closer than probably the other one.
Oh yeah, I know right where that is. Yeah, I guess I don't order anything off the KFC menu.
You're not in tune with the top. You know, you're always promoting them, but you clearly are not a fan. I guess I must be.
Well, it used to be. Here's what pisses me off about the Kentucky Huts is that it used to be that you can get these awesome cheesy potatoes from Taco Bell that were the right size little nugget potatoes. And then they said, we can just use Kentucky Fried Chicken's potato wedges as a substitute.
You must have won an off time. They usually don't cross.
They always dick me over by giving me these fucking potato wedges with nacho sauce on.
What chaos agents you go to, but even though you may think like, oh man, it's a Taco Bell KFC, I could get like a they could put like a drumstick on my Mexican pizza. They're not going to do that. Like, there's not an option for them to do that. They don't have the button to press to do that.
Wow.
So I don't know what fucking chaos you went to, but again, this has nothing to do.
No. Well, here's the deal. I saw on Twitter that Pizza Hut was raising their prices, and it was only in California
because the ingredients are better.
No, it had nothing to do with that. It was the Pizza Hut only in California said, we're going to raise our prices. I think it was like 70 cents per pizza. And it was basically, this is the cost of what it costs to do business in California. And I think that's bullshit.
That is such bullshit. These companies, like, you hear the stories about, like, you can't, like Ben Shapiro, like, saying some bullshit, or some other right winger saying bullshit about, like, how you're gonna be paying more for a Big Mac, you'd be doing this. And then you find out, like, in like Sweden or one of these countries in the Netherlands where they actually pay people a living wage at work at these places, the Big Macs cost the same.
Yeah.
They might be off by like a quarter here and there, but they pretty much, and same thing, like, if there's a pizza, they do it here because they get away with it in the United States.
Yeah.
And the United States, I would imagine that they probably make a decent amount of money in these other countries, but to them, in their big picture, who knows? Maybe these countries are a loss leader to them. It's important that they're in those countries for a worldwide brand. But United States, I think, is where they make the real money, because that's where they put out that cheap ass product at a high price point.
Yep.
And at a lower, and be able to pay people lower wages. I think that's the real reality. I think it's like, I mean, again, a lot of these companies are franchisees, and franchisers have to make money on top of one, so they can survive, but also so they can pay the owners, which is Pizza Hut, you know. But clearly they can do it there.
Yeah. I think my problem, and this is always my problem, this isn't like a new problem I have, is that they are making pizzas. Let's say a pizza's $10 an hour, and all of a sudden they want to charge $10.50 for that pizza. And they pass it off to the customer, and they're like, oh, well, the cost of cheese, or blah blah, this or that, and the CEO is still making $1 bajillion a year.
They're making more now.
Yeah, so David W. Gibbs, the chief executive officer of Pizza Hut, makes.
Wait, his name's not Peter Hut.
Pete Hut.
Pizza Hut.
This motherfucker makes $13 million a year.
That's it.
And if you tally that out by the hour, he makes $6,500 per hour.
Loser.
And his salary went up like 20% last year.
And that's probably not including any of the bonuses.
That is including.
Here's the best part about being CEO of Pet Pizza is that you can literally travel anywhere, do everything, almost everything, even though they'll claim it's not. Almost everything is a work expense.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah.
They're getting first class. He's flying first class all the time. He's flying this. He's doing this. There's a lot more than just the money. They get paid huge salaries, but they also make a lot of money on just the lifestyle alone.
Yeah. So, but this guy gets paid $6,500 an hour, and he's going to get 20% more next year. He's not going to miss out on a dime, just because he wants like another car and another vacation home and another piece of art or whatever. I mean, it's just like such bullshit. Like,
he wants that NFT.
Yeah.
Taco Bell NFT that, you know, those NFTs that Taco Bell sells.
The problem.
That's like Rittenhouse NFT.
The problem isn't the cost of doing business in California. The problem is that you're paying your CEO a bajillion. What does the fucking CEO of Pizza Hut do? They make pizzas. They make pizzas. They haven't.
Oh, how are we, the people, supposed to know about the Hut? The Pizza Hut guy.
The Pizza Hut menus remained unchanged for the last 60 years. Like,
when I go, no, that's not true. They figured out how to put the cheese in the crust, and then make. They put hot dogs around it.
The Pizzone was an innovation.
Yeah. Regardless, yes, it's all bullshit. And the other thing too, it's fucked up. It's like all that does is get like psychopaths to take it out on the worker there.
Yeah.
Like they're basically telling you, oh, we had to pay our fucking peon workers that we treat like literal shit to make your fucking shitty ass pizza that we sell you. And guess what? We raised it $1. So now when you come in, you're even more now you're angry and you're gonna take it out on the worker. You see that video went around it was actually in Texas, believe it or not, where a woman dumped like soup on a
Yes,
girl.
yeah.
Like she works in like I don't even
like
know
a Panera or something.
Panera or Brahms or one of these fucking places. Yeah. The woman like literally took her hot soup and dumped it on the girl's face at the register. And I'm just like, what the fuck? But it's like these stupid people, they probably watch like Fox News or whatever crazy shit. They never put two and two together and realize, wait, my anger and grievance should not be towards this woman that's getting paid nothing to work here. My anger should be at like the guy who's making 13 million plus bonuses and all that.
Yeah.
Telling me that he has to raise the price of food because he's blaming that girl that works behind the counter who's making
what, like $9. Yeah.
Now. Like, get the fuck. These places raise the price on their food all the fucking time, and their workers are not getting more money. That's bullshit.
Right. Well, and there's the newspaper, I think it was an LA Times article that I was reading. The newspaper said that this is a trend that I think they called it drip pricing is what it was. And it was basically the notion that that's how drip pricing. The columnist was David Laz from David Lazarus from the LA Times. And it's true, like it used to be that condiments weren't extra. It used to be that, that Pepsi's had refills, you just assumed you got a refill. It used to be that like you didn't have to pay an extra surcharge for something, or there wasn't a service fee or whatever. But now it's just like this constant drip, 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 drip. And it makes pricing things, it makes comparing things very difficult, So
yeah, I think it's bullshit. But here's a life hack from YSGOAT.
Yeah, okay.
When you, let's say you go through a drive-through at any place.
Yeah.
And they ask you if you want any sauce, don't say, oh, I'm good. Or sometimes they'll give you like one with the nugget or like that. But you'll notice they'll charge you for extra. The key is get to the window and be like to the person who's giving you the food, be like, hey, can I get some of this, and that?
Right.
And they won't, 90% of the time, won't give a fucking shit. And they will give you like a big ass bag full of fucking condiments. And you'll be like, I didn't even eat all these.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll use this for my other foods. I will say though, you cannot try this at KFC. They will not.
Really? What kind of sauces do they have at KFC?
Oh, they got.
Chicken dipping sauces. Yeah.
It's literally called finger licking, which is disgusting. So I'm like, gross. Wait, am I supposed to stick my fingers in it? Am I dipping my finger? Like
finger licking sauce sounds like it.
Rub them on the nugget. Like
it sounds like it'd be a small cup of saliva. It sounds like
used here. KFC, what have you done to me? They will not. Oh no, those are premium sauces.
See, that's funny because the Taco Bell people are.
Oh, they don't get those sauces are nothing. Those little fucking.
They look. I haven't bought taco sauce since I was like, packets. You ask them, and the guy like literally with a giant palm just will like basically like claw game.
The bag's so heavy, because it's all fire sauce.
Yeah, it is. I've
really
never.
No, that's not the same. It's those hearty squares that you get from McDonald's, Wendy's, or anything. Those sauces.
Yeah,
those are the premiums, and that's the one they're going to charge you. That's why when you get to the window, you go, hey, buddy.
Well,
I forgot to ask, but can I get some? And they usually be like, this is the reason why the costs have gone up. That's according to the CEO. This sounds right. Like I had real quick before we move on from this bullshit and talk about other CEOs, but like I knew that. Well, I knew this was always bullshit. When they tried pulling this, like this guy's totally stealing from the top. The guy doing the drip pricing. I had a VP at a company tell us like we need to stop. He's gonna start watching supplies, and if he sees us like stealing pens or all that, I was like, what? And then the next day we found out that he took like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars from the company and was using like private jets all the time to go to Vegas under the company. I mean, it is a balance. The pen and the stapler,
sure,
those add up. And with all like 10 workers working in the company, they're all taking staplers and pens. That clearly adds up to a year's worth of private jets.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all the same. They're equal. Yeah. They're equal. But speaking of shitty CEOs, I mean, like Elon Musk said something stupid recently about like governments or something. You saw this video, right?
Yeah. He basically wants, it's like a libertarian fantasy. He wants to get no government and industrialists take charge.
Even though, like, the only reason why he is who he is, well, besides the fact that he came from a family who owned a slave mine, and was super rich already. The only reason why his companies are what they are is because SpaceX has huge contracts in the United States and is constantly leasing money off the United States.
Yeah, and they've borrowed money from the United States, and they've borrowed technology and research from the US. And
and Tesla, same thing. They,
you used to be able to get Teslas. There used to be huge tax incentives to buy Teslas. You write it off on your taxes.
Oh yeah.
So he's a deadbeat. He always.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like before Trump got into power, he seemed he supposedly always kind of sucked, but he seemed like a well-intentioned rich guy. Like he seemed like it. And then Trump got into power, and it was like weird. He was like on some like committee or something, and then he left like after Charlottesville or something like that. But then he just got fully entrenched, and especially with COVID, he just became a fucking straight up piece of shit.
Yeah,
the guy already sucked, but he went from like fucking, I don't know, 7 to 12 on the dial.
Well, yeah, he went from like kind of an eccentric to like a villain, I think is what it was.
He's a straight up villain now. He's even got a fucking haircut like a fucking Nazi villain. It's really bizarre. I guess the other one I wanted to talk about. Oh, then there was that one guy. I mean, we don't really need to spend time on it, but there was like do you know what company this was where the guy fired like 100 people?
I got it up here. It's a mortgage company called Better.com, and the CEO's name is Vishal Garg, as in Gargamel. The company
was injected with like, I don't know, made like $1 billion or something crazy like that.
Yeah, they were going through some sort of weird organizational process or fundraising. They were going through something where they just received $750 million in cash. And then they had about $1 billion on balance. They had that amount of money getting ready to go into the next phase of their business.
I mean, it's awesome because it was like Christmas time, and it's like, man,
yes,
there's gonna be some generous bonuses probably given out to all the hardworking employees that like gave their time and energy to make sure that like that company like that can be legitimate and make that kind of money. And I'm sure that's what happened, right?
No, he invited 9% of his workforce to a meeting on Zoom.
Oh, to like tell them about the office party and
only 9% of the people were invited, and everyone who was invited, when they logged on, they got fired in mass via Zoom.
That's like some kind of succession.
2 weeks before Christmas. Yeah.
What? So, where is Cousin Eddie?
Yeah.
Like we as a country have failed, especially people who like claim they love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
You love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, then you would be willing to kidnap a billionaire who is just totally fucked over. I mean, Cousin Eddie Clark was not fired.
No, he just received the jelly of the month.
Still received a gift, not as generous to get his pool where he was trying to masturbate to the girl that was at the counter, and he got caught by Eddie's daughter.
Right.
Which awkward.
Yeah.
But like we were like, oh, Brian Doyle Murray's character's a dick.
Yeah.
Now you would have weird nerds defending Brian Doyle Murray.
Well, this is just such a weird thing. You did have a lot of people defending better.com, saying, well, these people were working from home and they were lazy and they deserved it, blah blah. It is
for Christmas though.
It's a total dick move. The thing to do.
Yeah,
you in theory.
I bet you those people who said all that stuff were bought and paid for by that website.
Yeah, I'm sure. But like, it is a dick move, and it just seemed like I think the message to a worker, and this is like my own gut feeling on it, is that for a long time people have suspected like maybe the boss isn't on my side, or maybe the big company doesn't care about me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like as unions went away even more and more, it's crazy. Yeah. It's like the bosses got worse.
And I think that now it used to be that people thought if you worked hard and played by the rules, you'd generally make out okay. And I think people no longer think that.
Yeah, they just get soup thrown on them by psychopaths who take their aggression out on their own people.
There's been plenty of people that have played by the rules and done things the right way and have worked hard and have gotten let go 2 weeks before Christmas.
Let me tell you that, recently, this is not the same thing, but today I went to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
In theory, I probably shouldn't go to. Of course, I should probably not go to a lot of places I shop at. In theory, I mean, if you really want to be like, but whatever. And the guy at the counter is like, "Would you like to donate to the food drive?"
Right.
I'm just like, well, first I'm like, and I was like, no, I don't. Fuck you. You know who's in charge of this place? The richest man on the earth.
Yeah.
Let him just like, I don't know, let him drop $1 million and feed the food bank himself. Like, why are you? I came here paying escalated prices for shit. Now you're making your employees give me a fucking guilt trip so you could have a bigger tax write-off.
Yeah,
it doesn't help. It probably doesn't help anyone except your tax write-off. Like,
it's ridiculous.
I'm so sick of these fucking. Anytime you go to places. And that's why I like Taco Bell, but they never ask.
They don't ask you shit.
They're not good. You don't give a shit. We don't give a fuck about you. We don't give a fuck about the kids or anything. You gotta pander and they're giving you like a guilt trip. They're like, oh, you like to give to like children in hospital. I'm like, why do you need me to do it? You guys are like rich. Why don't you fucking do it? Not the people on the counter. Like, I'm not gonna say that to them. I mean, like, they'll be like, sir, they make me. Give me my orange chicken. Oh. But I mean, like, I'm so sick. I know this is like stupid, but like, these companies do this shit to you
all the time.
They give you a guilt trip, and then you find out like they don't pay fucking taxes. Their fucking owners are like billionaires. They're like, fuck them. Why don't they buy one less fucking that car? Bugatti,
right? Or Aston Martin or whatever they're buying. Yeah, Bugatti.
Whatever, yeah. Why don't you buy one less one and you donate to the food bank? Leave the fuck alone, Mike. This charity bullshit is crap. Like, how about you pay your fucking taxes,
right? So
that like people are raised out of poverty by programs that actually help fucking people, not your bullshit grift.
Yeah.
That whoever you put in charge of it is going to take most of the money anyway.
Yeah.
That's always a fucked up thing about these organizations.
Yeah.
People that work on the top, they get paid well.
Oh yeah, very well.
Across, you hear about that. You think like they always say like donate. Actually, you should not donate to them. They're full of shit.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a weird one, but that's disgusting. Right before Christmas, like
it's just a shitty thing to do. You know, I mean, it's like
defending that. There's no defending that. And especially, it's not even okay. It'd be one thing if like they weren't doing well and they had no money, and that would still be
right. Of course.
But when you read that they just got a healthy, large amount of money, that's insane.
Yeah, theoretically, there's a right way to do that. Like, look, if you don't need all those people, then of course you shouldn't feel obligated to hire people that you don't need. You know, but you don't do it by Zoom 2 weeks before Christmas. You have a plan that says, look, over the next couple months, we're going to have to trim the workforce. So if you're thinking about retiring or leaving your job. I've seen companies do this. If you're thinking about leaving over the next 3 months, give us ample notice and we'll give you a bonus on your way out the door. And that'll prompt a decent number of people to leave. It will. Yeah. It always does.
I'll be like, I hate working here anyway. And now I can just like go get a job, take my time. And
or maybe they were thinking about moving, or maybe they've been debating getting another job, or maybe they're 62 and they're going to retire early. That could happen. You know, you take some of that $750 million you just got, or some of that billion fucking dollars you got in the bank, and you put that out there. And then if not enough people take it after 3 months, you say, look, we needed 100 people to quit. Only 70 did. We need 30 more. Any takers? And then if not, say, look, okay, we're going to have to make some hard decisions. We've identified these people. We're giving you 2 weeks. I mean, like, there's a way to do it.
Well, I guess in a way that you don't have to worry about office chatter because you got rid of everyone.
True.
You would still have like weird office chatter. People like, when's he leaving? You leaving?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're out here? Like, there would be like weird chaos. So you just fire everybody 2 weeks before Christmas, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna get my yacht mansion, and then I'm gonna put out some. Or the worst is like, I mean, I don't know. You know what? Here's the good news.
Yes.
This leads perfectly right after next story. All those people who lost their job and everything, don't worry, because there's an easy way to make money.
Oh, how so?
Well, I saw Reese Witherspoon put out a tweet about like how crypto is here to stay, and that women are not part of the conversation. They're not really, it's mostly a male-dominated field. Duh, of course it is. Male dorks. A couple of female nerds, but mostly male dorks.
Sure.
Reese Witherspoon's like, we need to get more women involved so they can be part of the conversation. I don't know what this conversation's about. Do they need to be part of this? I don't think anyone needs to be part of this conversation.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's good news. There's always, if you just buy some Shiba Inu or some nutsack or whatever crypto, get some Bitcoin that just like today it dropped down like 30 grand or something. Not that low, but it did drop a lot. I was like, look, I literally put some money in it early this year.
Yeah.
Not a lot, a decent amount, just to watch it.
Yeah.
So I could check it on in and be like, wow, just watch it dance. It's like you ever go to like a bar and they used to have like back in the day where like bars would have like videos.
Yeah.
And they would just play like weird. They would just have videos.
Old clips and yeah.
And it would just be like wavy music or like waves and like all this shit. And you just watch and just get like high and like
right.
That's kind of like watching like crypto just bounce up and down like a fucking so it's cool that Reese Witherspoon's like giving people like the opportunity to empower themselves. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's bullshit. It's really weird seeing like celebrities like the other like my son brought it up too. We went to the movies for the first time since COVID hit, and we saw Eternals and we saw Ghostbusters, and before the movie starts at the same theater, not the same day, but a couple weeks apart. But there was an ad with Matt Damon pushing crypto.
Oh yeah.
My son was like, "This is weird."
Yeah.
Ad. Like he was like, "What is this?" And it's Matt Damon pushing crypto.
Yeah.
There was like Spike Lee back in the summer. There was an ad where he was pushing crypto. And he was kind of doing that bullshit too. Like, this will empower people of color. And then you find out like it's a total scam and it's just going to fuck people out of money.
Well, I would say to me, and I'm a big believer in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. I think cryptocurrency, most of it's crap, but there's good coins with good applications.
Hey, listen, just because you're being funded by big crypto, you have to constantly defend it, Joseph.
Yeah, well, I don't think. So I believe in Ethereum and Bitcoin.
I don't know if you guys realize, because we don't really post the video ever, but Joseph's wearing a jacket, a green jacket covered in money signs. And he used to wear that one, but now he wears a black jacket covered in Bitcoin signs.
And I have modified my eyeglasses so that my eyes look like they're glowing red and shooting laser beams.
And he's constantly saying to the moon. Or
right. So I believe in that kind of stuff. I 100% believe in it. I legitimately think it's kind of the way of the future. NFTs, I think, are a total scam, and I don't.
Well, that's what Reese Witherspoon was really pushing was
yeah.
NFTs.
See, NFTs, like to me, they I don't understand them. I mean, I get we've talked about this in some way. Like if you're playing Second Life, the video game, or Grand Theft Auto Online or whatever, and you want to buy a special car that your little guy can drive around in the video game, then that makes sense to sell as an NFT, especially if the video game in some way lies on the blockchain. I get that. And that has value in the sense that like it entertains you. You know, it's like buying a piece of music or
one of the worst things ever was
yeah.
Roblox.
Oh,
like a lot of that shit. That's why a lot of these kids love NFTs because they fucking they were raised by Roblox.
Yep.
And I remember my son was like, "Can I get this?" I'm like, "No, you're not spending $50 on this. This is fucking stupid." Like,
well, I'll tell you, my daughter gets an allowance, and she used to for like I'd say 3 or 4 weeks, she would ask me for her allowance in Robux.
Well, there's other ways you could use it, like you play certain games and do that. But there was some dumb shit where it was like, I have a hat for my character.
She bought hats and ponies and shit like that. And after about 3 weeks of getting zero cash and instead getting little pictures of hats, she hasn't spent a dime since. That lesson cost me $30 to teach her super quickly.
Well, you got off easy because there's shit on there that goes for like 10 grand. So I used to work in licensing, and one of my towards the tail end of my career in licensing was I worked on the Roblox license, and I hated it from the fucking start. It was awful. I was like, dude, let me just take your dumb characters, put them on a shirt, and sell them to children. Like they're fun looking. Let me do that. And they wanted like this lifestyle brand. It's like, dude, their logo is literally a square. Dude, I went there and like the CEO is like some fucking like. He was like all he cared about was that he was gonna go to like what was it, Burning Man, and like make a weird tricycle. The guy's like a billionaire, right? Well, all they do, dude, they just that's all it is. It's like they get people to play and there's that, but they get them to buy like shit. And all that stuff are literally just like NFTs. Like so like I went out to lunch and a woman working was telling me like we all went out and the woman was telling me about how people pay like 10 grand for a hat.
Yeah. And
I was like, you're kidding, right? She's like, no. It's like they'll wear a hat and they get brag to their friends and everything. I'm like, that's absolutely fucking insane. Like, I don't care if some person says to me, like, oh, well, you like this, this, and this. I'm like, I like tangible goods.
Right. Yeah.
Like if a CD, or if you buy music or like that, and it comes with a code to download the album, that's cool. That to me is a great bonus. But I don't want to pay to download the album. I want the actual album.
Yeah, the physical album.
Like, because the great thing about the physical album is that, like, I mean, sometimes it's just trash and you end up tossing it or selling it for a nickel.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have like a fucking great collector's item and it comes for like $100, and then or you keep it and cherish it for the rest of your life and it's part of your collection. But this stuff's bullshit. This is such a scam. It is such a scam. And then to use like bullshit, like this will empower women, this will empower the LGBTQ, this will empower people of color. That is like just the lowest fucking marketing possible. Like you're just like playing off the grievances and suffering of people's like ancestors and relatives, or even their own personal suffering, and tell them, oh no, your problems will be solved with crypto. So you sign up to this thing, and there might be some fees involved, and you might pay a lot of money to try to cash out.
Well, it is targeting people that probably don't fully. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I do know that NFTs, from my perspective, the vast majority of them are completely worthless and don't do anything. It's not even like I don't know. They just don't do anything.
It's like the Beanie Babies thing.
Yeah.
But the difference was with the Beanie Babies,
you got a Beanie Baby.
You had a Beanie Baby. Like, did you ever see that famous picture that got around of this is the most fucking, this is like the most craziest, this is like something that should have been on Night Court if it survived. Where a couple is getting divorced and they're dividing up their Beanie Baby collection in the court case.
Yeah, I've heard about this. Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I remember like Cabbage Patch dolls being collectible and Pogs. I mean, there's always
Not,
been like,
well, not they weren't collectible like Beanie
no,
Babies.
not
Beanie Babies
like Beanie Babies, right?
crazy. But again, at the end of the day, you still had a physical thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you had the Beanie Baby.
And the
You had-
value was only based on how good a condition it was, too.
yeah.
Like NFTs, like it's so stupid. The joke is like, okay, so you buy it but you technically don't even own it.
No.
You own a receipt.
Yep.
But you can't go out and like print it or buy it. I don't know. It's the whole thing drives me nuts. But
you don't even own the
really
copyright
just
on
get a
it.
bad taste in my mouth when I see like already rich, famous people pushing it on people, and I'm like, why do you need to do this?
Yeah.
It's like what? Like, listen, if you're young and you're breaking in and like this, you found this as a way to make money. I really don't fault you. I mean, I have an issue with it because it's environmentally terrible.
Right.
And I don't care. I'm so sick of like people saying, well, that's not true. They're working on it. Oh, they're working on it. Oh, I'm sure they're getting right on that as they're snorting coke off of like a hooker. Like,
yeah.
Hold on, I gotta save the environment. First, let me just do this.
Right.
Trisha. I don't know who Trisha is. I just threw that name out.
Yeah.
Don't anyone listening. I don't think that's aimed at anybody. I'm not saying that everyone is a prostitute name.
Yeah.
Just want to get that out of the way.
Well,
clear that up. But I mean, like, I get that, but it's like when you see like established artists and established musicians or established actors and something, they're pushing this garbage, and you're just like, really?
Yeah, it's disappointing.
It is disappointing because it's so stupid. I mean, I get it. Like, listen, there's trends all the time. I used to work in licensing and stuff like that.
Sure.
Licensing and apparel. So we wrote every fucking trend. Hey, listen, even face masks, regardless of holding anti-maskers, they were trendy. And it was a huge moneymaker for a lot of companies for the past year.
Yeah.
To do like stylized and stuff like that. But again, it's an item that has some utility to it.
Right.
What are you going to do with an NFT? Do you ever see those tweets like, was it like Crypto Bros realizing their L's, or there's like these great accounts on Twitter that have like that basically do screenshots of like crypto people, right wingers, whatever that, and it's like right wingers recognizing, almost getting it, like they'll say something left wing for a second, they're like almost getting it.
Right.
They're not there. They missed the point, or they'd say something about like a crypto or an NFT person, and this one person's like, oh, I bought a house for like a certain amount, a couple $100,000, and this one guy's like, oh, you could have bought an NFT or something, and it's like dead serious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Are you? What?
Yeah. It is weird. I'm real curious to see where this trend goes and everything. Maybe someone at some point will convince me that NFTs have some sort of utility or value. But right now, it just seems like, it seems like a trap, a way to bring a lot of money into the cryptocurrency world by basically selling people magic beans or something. I don't know.
They try to claim that the artists make money and stuff like that. But it's like, okay, I mean, like, yeah, I guess if you go to certain countries in the world, you can use it as a currency.
Well, you can write the contract so that let's say you did an NFT.
No, yeah, go ahead.
But let's just say you did.
I know.
And then you sold it. You retain the copyright, and you can write the contract so that the next time that person sells it, you get a royalty.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing that attracts the artist. They like because they've been used to getting screwed, or they do like work for hire, they don't make any money. But here's this thing, or okay.
So in theory, you should be able to profit in perpetuity on it. But that depends on that getting sold over and over again. And at some point, the music stops, and there's like more people than chairs. And what are you going to do with this shit? People are going to eventually dummy up and realize they're worthless, So
some are worthless up the gate.
Yeah, true.
Like, I mean, and the thing is, I remember you mentioned things about like, oh, they could do this and this, but like, why does it have to be an NFT? You can do that with like other applications. You don't have to be a fucking NFT. You can do like some kind of passive. So you're just using it as a grift to get people to spend a ton of money on like this fucking, JPEG or whatever.
Well, it also guarantees that you'll get paid every time it's traded. from an artist perspective.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what you said, like where it's like if you buy a certain thing, then you could use it as a way to get something else. But it's like, why doesn't it have to be an NFT?
Yeah,
like you could do that with like literally anything.
It's easier to do with it's just an added step.
Right. You have to like have a wallet. You have to do this.
Yeah.
Like I said, I get people hit me up all the time and want to do it. Every time I get it, I'm like, it's super shady.
Yep.
I had this one guy who he called me a gatekeeper, which I think is really fucking funny because again, I'm like, yeah, you know, I was gonna listen and follow what Matt Damon and Reese Witherspoon, Rob Israel on Twitter, 2,000 followers said that NFTs are dumb. And that changed me.
Wow. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I'm curious to see where it goes.
Somebody I do work for, this guy, he had a great tweet. He goes about the Fox News tree on fire. He goes, I'm gonna make this an NFT and sell it. He's like, I don't believe this shit, but if there's an NFT to be made, it's gonna be the Fox Christmas tree burning.
Right.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though. The one thing that I'm kind of glad because I see this as the de-evolution of it. It is how NFTs have become completely taken over by the like Bored Ape thing, Lazy Lion, because it's so crappy looking.
Oh, they're terrible.
Some chef or whatever, I don't even know his name, whatever, but like again, it was like one of those like crypto bros or thing they posted. And it was like this chef posting about like a pizza character, a line of pizza characters, and he said this will empower people in the culinary industry. I'm like, get the fuck out! Like that's the worst. That's the worst is when they put out this product, but then they try to add this like higher moral thing. Like this will empower the people in the culinary industry. No, it's not. Get the fuck out of here! Like, Jesus. Yeah, I'm really helping the guy out in the back at the restaurant by buying this JPEG of fucking
right. He's like, I would just prefer a dental plan. I would just prefer.
Can I just please have dental home insurance, a day off?
Right. Off? Oh fuck.
Guaranteed week off for every 10 years. All right. Well, we'll see. I will say if there's a man or not a man, you know, like New York Times, I nominate the New York Times person of the year is an NFT.
I like it.
I don't. But you know what? You know who else was also person time of the year?
Trump, right?
No,
and Hitler.
I think they refused to do it.
Okay.
Hitler.
Yeah, Hitler was. Yeah. I remember that.
I remember. Yeah, because you were alive back then.
Right.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.